Chapter 1961, So What If It Was Destroyed? 1961 So What If It Was Destroyed? The moment Fate Gu was destroyed, the whole battlefield returned to its previous state. The white light formed by Fate Vanquish Killer move disappeared completely. Crack crack. A series of crisp sounds echoed as countless cracks spread throughout Heaven Overseeing Tower. At the next moment, the whole of Heaven Overseeing Tower crumbled into pieces. The grand heavenly court fell into deathly silence. There was no trace of wind in the battlefield, but the immortals felt a hurricane blowing in their hearts. Heaven Overseeing Tower turned into countless fragments that fell down along with Gu immortal corpses. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's painting path method turned into a ray of light that crossed the sky and flew far away. Feng Yuan ignored it and quietly floated in the air, looking at Duke Long, Feng Gu, and the rest. He had no expression and did not say anything, he only opened his palm slowly. Under everybody's vision killer move, everyone in the 5 regions saw the fragments of the destroyed Fate Gu. Fate Gu has been destroyed. We won. The 3 regions Gu immortals looked at each other, seeing the astonishment and daze on each other's faces. Unbelievable, we really did it. This battle will definitely be remembered by later generations. After coming to their senses, the 3 regions Gu immortals cheered wildly. On the contrary, Heavenly Court's remaining Gu immortals had ashen expressions and were dazed like puppets. Fate Gu was Heavenly Court's banner, their spiritual pillar. It was more than a rank 9 Gu worm. Primordial origin Immortal Venerable had relied on this Gu to create the rule of humanity, it gave humans the hope of freedom and courage to revolt. After over 3 million years of inheritance and development, the significance of Fate Gu was much greater to Heavenly Court. It was Heavenly Court's foundation, a symbol, and also an eternally fluttering banner. But now, this banner was taken down and torn by Feng Yuan. Heavenly Court's immortals felt that the pillar in their mind was taken away, their world had collapsed. Even without the 3 regions Gu immortals attacking or any external stimulation, they were dazed and did not know what they should do. Even Feng Gu was silent, his destiny song that had kept on resounding throughout the battlefield stopped at this moment. Far away, Feng Jin Huang was hiding in a secret underground immortal Gu house, she was weeping silently. Fate Gu has been destroyed. How did this happen? Everyone clearly put in so much effort, not even hesitating to sacrifice themselves. Qin Dingling's gaze was blank, she was like a lifeless statue. The greatly damaged demon judgment board rose to the sky. Feng Zheng, who was inside, looked at Feng Yuan with a highly complicated expression. Feng Yuan, you actually accomplished it. In Heavenly Court, in front of the venerable methods, you destroyed Fate Gu. So the gap between you and I is simply this big. This gap made Feng Zheng feel despair, but a strange thing was Feng Zheng did not feel bitterness at this moment, instead he felt a trace of relief. It was time to give up. A person like Feng Yuan was different from everyone from the start. Thinking of rivaling him was wishful thinking from the start, a delirious thought even. Damn it, damn it. We failed, Fate Gu has been destroyed. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals cried. They had used all their strength, given their everything, some crawled out of their graves to fight, some held on till the end, but they still failed. We have really failed our comrades who sacrificed themselves. I am too ashamed to face my seniors. Shame surfaced on the Heavenly Court immortals' faces, many even had the impulse to kill themselves. Don't panic. At this moment, Duke Long suddenly spoke, his voice spreading throughout the battlefield, shaking every Gu immortal's mind. Duke Long flew to the sky, his expression was solemn as he knew this was the crucial moment. Fate Gu had been destroyed, Duke Long could not afford to be upset or blame himself. He was the leader of Heavenly Court, he needed to try his hardest to deal with this issue. What made him anxious was that even the deeply experienced Heavenly Court Gu immortals were shaken like this. What would the people all over the world think about this sight? If Fang Yuan's scheming and defeating Heavenly Court time and again earlier was like a heavy slap to Heavenly Court's face, then Fang Yuan destroying Fate Gu was like shaking Heavenly Court's foundation completely, destroying the status and reputation Heavenly Court had accumulated for over 3 million years. Duke Long had to restore their morale and fighting spirit. Fang Yuan, you really think you destroyed Fate Gu? Duke Long suddenly laughed with no trace of listlessness, one could not sense any form of wavering in his tone. Fang Yuan did not reply and only slightly raised his hand as he looked at Duke Long. Immediately, the three regions Gu immortals ridiculed, Duke Long, have you gone blind? You can't see the fragments of Fate Gu? Some of the Heavenly Court Gu immortals looked with bright gazes, a spark of hope rising in their hearts. Is the Fate Gu that Fang Yuan destroyed a replica? But Duke Long shook his head, still laughing, he, the destroyed Fate Gu is the real one. But Fang Yuan, even though Fate Gu is destroyed, has it really been destroyed forever? Can we not refine it once again? Ha! The immortals were stupefied. Immortal Gu were unique, this was an irrefutable truth of the world. If I had an immortal Gu, others could not possess the same one. But when this immortal Gu was destroyed, others would have the chance to possess it. Fate Gu was destroyed by Fang Yuan now, this was an ironclad truth. But this was not a genuine ending because Heavenly Court could refine it again. Does Heavenly Court have Fate Gu's recipe? Shen Songsheng's expression was grim as he asked. Heavenly Court has held Fate Gu for over 3 million years, we had countless refinement path great experts and 3 immortal venerables in this period. Take a guess if our Heavenly Court has Fate Gu's recipe or not. Duke Long smiled, his entire body letting out confidence and calmness. Damn it! The 3 regions Gu immortals were exasperated. Duke Long laughed, however, even if Heavenly Court did not have Fate Gu's immortal Gu recipe, so what? Everyone, let me ask you, was the Fate Gu in the immemorial antiquity era refined by Renzu? Of course not. Qin Dingling replied, she understood Duke Long's intention and her eyes shone with life again, Fate Gu was born from heaven and earth itself. Duke Long nodded, that's right, immortal Gu are born from nature which is why there are many wild immortal Gu. Even if we cannot refine it, heaven and earth will refine Fate Gu. The new Fate Gu might be rank 6 or even rank 9 directly. Who can say for sure? This time, the 3 regions Gu immortals looked at each other. After Duke Long mentioned this point, they suddenly realized that destroying Fate Gu might not be a big deal. If Fate Gu was destroyed, so be it, it could be refined again. Even if it is refined, we can destroy it again. A Gu immortal shouted angrily, but even he himself did not have much confidence. To destroy Fate Gu this time, they had paid a huge price. Could such success really be replicated? Forget about anything else, just the point that only an otherworldly demon could destroy Fate Gu blocked the path of many heroes and conquerors. Didn't even 3 demon venerables fail? Damn it, how could we have failed to notice this? A Gu immortal was vexed, but thinking about it, he could blame himself for not considering everything properly. After all, invading Heavenly Court and destroying Fate Gu was already an enormous goal and could even be said to be wishful thinking. To realize this goal, the Gu immortals had already exhausted their minds and energy. This was an impossible mission akin to a mortal ascending to heaven, even if they used all their strength and had inexhaustible will, it was still difficult to achieve. Under such circumstances, who could afford to think of the matter after ascending to heaven? In fact, when Central Continent held the Refinement Path Convention and 4 regions Gu immortals invaded, who could say for sure that they could destroy Fate Gu? No one. Even Fang Yuan, even venerables did not have such confidence. Everyone was giving it a try. After the attempt succeeded, the Gu immortals were exulted. But what happens after realizing this goal? Duke Long's words were also the truth. The 3 regions Gu immortals suddenly discovered that the price they paid, the battles and the effort they invested were all in vain. Was it just an empty victory? The 3 regions Gu immortals were silent, their expressions gradually turning unsightly. Wu Yong was sharp and sensed the change in people's hearts and the fallen morale. He immediately refuted coldly, Lord Duke Long, you have a sharp tongue. However, Heavenly Court's failure is still a failure, you took great pain to defend and even hide Fate Gu in Heavenly Court, yet we were still able to destroy it. In the future, even if you obtain Fate Gu again, so what? In fact, you need to be careful. Otherwise, when heaven and earth gives birth to the new Fate Gu, you won't be able to refine it yourselves. At that time, Fate Gu will become a wild immortal Gu, anyone will be able to possess it, it might not necessarily be obtained by your heavenly court anymore. The three regions' immortals' eyes brightened and their morale soared. Duke Long was smiling calmly. Wu Yong, you are not wrong about it at all. Let's say Fate Gu becomes a wild immortal Gu and is obtained by one of you, so what? Can you all use it? Do you know how to use it? Even Wu Yong could not reply to this question. Duke Long smiled proudly. Fate Gu can never be used by Gu immortals. Before the remote antiquity era, it was held by variant humans but they could not use it. Over 3 million years, my heavenly court had several immortal venerables, but no one could directly use this Gu. Countless geniuses racked their minds and then conceptualized Heaven Overseeing Tower. It took 3 million years for us to research a killer move that could make use of Fate Gu, and that is Fate Vanquish. Do you understand the killer move Fate Vanquish? Do you know how to construct Heaven Overseeing Tower? The three regions' Gu immortals fell into silence. Duke Long continued, only heavens can use Fate Gu. Back then, for the sake of humanity, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable did not hesitate to sacrifice herself and merged with Heaven's will, disturbing and influencing Heaven's will. Which is why, humanity that rose 3 million years ago is still flourishing now, we remained as the rulers of the world. And my heavenly court built the immortal graveyard to support Star Constellation's will. Heavenly court members all chose to hibernate in the immortal graveyard to provide constant help for Star Constellation's will. Only then are we able to influence Fate Gu and thus influence the position of humanity in the whole world. Among you, who can achieve this? Duke Long swept his gaze throughout the battlefield. The three regions' Gu immortals were silent while Heavenly Court's Gu immortals stood proudly. Someone even added arrogantly, no one. In the vast 5 regions, only Heavenly Court can accomplish this. No, you are wrong, Duke Long. Bing Sai Chuan's retort came from inside Calamity Luck Altar. Even if we are unable to use Fate Gu, we can use it as a Gu refinement material to refine Destiny Gu. Fate Gu cannot be controlled by others, but Destiny Gu can. This is the plan of our Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Duke Long looked towards Calamity Luck Altar and gave a disdainful smile. Even if you refine Destiny Gu, does it mean Fate Gu won't exist? Bing Sai Chuan was unable to reply. If Fate Gu was used as a Gu material, when Longevity Heaven refined Destiny Gu, Fate Gu would be used up. In the future, there could still be a new Fate Gu. Duke Long sighed, no matter what you do, Fate Gu will still exist. Even if it destroyed now, it will appear again in the future. As long as it appears, will your efforts today have any meaning? The three regions' Gu immortals were silent. Of course there is meaning. Duke Long answered himself with solemnness and hatred. The meaning of this is to give a chance for variant humans to rise up, for them to create an unimaginably bad influence on humanity. You cannot use Fate Gu, and how long will it take for you to refine Destiny Gu? You don't even have an incomplete Gu recipe of Fate Gu. Once Fate Gu reappears, it will be controlled by Heaven's will. Humanity will decline and variant humans will rise. And the one who led to this is all of you. Duke Long berated and suddenly pointed towards Fong Yuan, especially you. You are the greatest evil. You destroyed the immortal graveyard. Star constellations won't be able to interfere with Heaven's will like before. If humanity is exterminated in the future, you will be the main culprit behind everything. Fong Yuan, oh Fong Yuan, you think you obtained victory by destroying Fate Gu? At best, this is only a at best, this is only a giant joke. My heavenly court thinks for humanity in all aspects. We offered our blood and sweat for the benefits of humanity, even sacrificing ourselves. And you people, for your own selfish interests, destroyed the great position that my heavenly court had maintained meticulously for millions of years. My heavenly court can refine Fate Gu again in the future. We can refine it secretly. We won't let the 5 regions know of Fate Gu's refinement. Will you find out about it? Can you all stop us in time? Even if you stop us the second or the third time. What about after that? Who can guarantee you can stop us from refining it again and again? We will only refine rank 6 Fate Gu, it is far easier than restoring it to rank 9. Also, every time we fight because of Fate Gu, humanity will suffer heavy losses and greatly expend its foundation. This will give variant humans the opportunity to rise up against us. Duke Long lamented with deep emotions as he said this. Who is this old man? I did not know that Heavenly Court did so many things in consideration for our entire human race. Why did they invade Heavenly Court? What were these Gu immortals thinking? These people are all demons, they disregarded the big picture for their own interests. They are accursed sinners. The 5 regions mortals resonated with Duke Long. Most of the mortals had extremely little understanding of the Gu immortal world. And the Gu immortals scattered in the 5 regions were also silent when they heard Duke Long. Heavenly Court was powerful, Heavenly Court was domineering, Heavenly Court occupied almost all the cultivation resources of Central Continent, Heavenly Court's ambition stretched extremely far and actively interfered in major events of the other 4 regions. But no one was able to deny Heavenly Court's contribution in protecting humanity. This was a fact. This is somewhat troublesome. Although it felt extremely satisfying to destroy Fate Gu, there is some emptiness after the adrenaline rush, this is a bit of a problem. Inside the blood cape, reckless savages will mumbled while holding his head. Duke Long, are you done? Fong Yuan's expression was indifferent, after destroying Fate Gu, this was the first time he spoke and broke the silence. Duke Long looked at Fong Yuan, his brows furrowed as he started feeling uneasy. Fong Yuan was too calm. According to Fong Yuan's intelligence, how could he not see the crucial point? Duke Long tried to think from another perspective, if he were Fong Yuan, he would definitely use all his strength to attack and not give the enemies the chance to speak. Because once Duke Long spoke, he would create this current situation. Indeed. Duke Long's words restored Heavenly Court's Gu immortals' morale and also suppressed the enemy's spirit, he also raised Heavenly Court's prestige and it was simply turning the situation around. Duke Long was worthy of being the leader of Heavenly Court, he not only possessed terrifying strength worthy of the main pillar, at the crucial time, he could even lead and boost morale, changing people's hearts. How could Fong Yuan not see this? But he did not stop Duke Long could even vaguely see a trace of anticipation in his eyes. So what was Fong Yuan anticipating? At the next moment, Fong Yuan chuckled, "Oh Duke Long, who told you that destroying Fate Gu meant the end of this battle? You seem to have forgotten someone." Duke Long's pupils shrank as he realized something. He followed Fong Yuan's gaze and saw a river. That was a phantom silhouette of the River of Time. Calamity Luck Altar carried Red Lotus Demon Venerable's method, Call of the Ancient. From the start of the battle, this killer move's power had condensed into a phantom river of time in Heavenly Court. Northern Plains past Gu immortal experts walked out from this phantom river and created an extremely huge threat to Heavenly Court. But as the battle continued, the phantom river of time seemed to have gradually grown powerless as fewer and fewer of Northern Plains experts were summoned. At the late stage of the battle, this phantom river of time seemed to be motionless and showed no traces of new figures emerging. However, when Fong Yuan destroyed Fate Gu, this phantom river of time seemed like a beast that had broken free of its shackles, it started surging wildly and turbulently. Swish swish swish. The river water surged, raising astonishing waves. A figure walked out slowly and naturally from the giant waves. All the immortals present heard his voice. In my youth I shined in the light of spring, horses trampled on flowers as fragrance of wine spread. Love and hatred came with the waves, summer cicadas sang as I woke up in the middle of the night. Planting red lotuses in the river of time, going back in time with my tears run dry. Through the vicissitudes of life I return to this stage, the myriad beings anticipate a life unbound by fate. He had the appearance of a young man, his gaze seemed to have experienced countless vicissitudes, he wore a red robe, his face was pure as jade, his eyes were bright like stars, and his skin was white as snow. He walked out from the phantom river of time and stepped into Heavenly Court's battlefield. Everyone watched, there was complete silence all around. His gaze moved around before fixing on Duke Long's body. Duke Long shook, his expression was extremely complicated as he opened his mouth, his lips moved but no words came out. The young man smiled, "Master, have you been well? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1962, I Have Destiny Immortal Gu's Recipe. 1962 I Have Destiny Immortal Gu's Recipe. Wow, this person came out of the river. Why is there a river in the sky? The young man who walked out is really handsome. I still think that the fairy in the red cape looks nicer. Because of the killer move everybody's vision, the mortals of the 5 regions saw this scene, they discussed enthusiastically and rowdily. Mortals and Gu masters might not understand the severity of the situation, but most of the Gu immortals knew who this mysterious young man was. At once, Gu immortals of the 5 regions were shaken, it was as if a world-destroying tornado was rampaging in their hearts. This Gu immortal, it can't be. Is he Red Lotus Demon Venerable? Among the generations of venerables, Red Lotus Demon Venerable was the most mysterious one. Back then, Heavenly Court used everything to nurture him but their efforts were in vain. Not only did Red Lotus not become an immortal venerable, he even became a demon venerable, betraying the righteous path and damaging Fate Gu. There was also the problem of the Dragonman race mixed within this. Heavenly Court had to disregard costs and make information path. Great experts used their most profound methods to eliminate the influence of this event. Moreover, Red Lotus Demon Venerable had constantly been reborn, he changed his style of action and wanted to preserve Heavenly Court's reputation for the sake of his master, he started to act secretly in the dark. Thus, most Gu immortals did not know the true appearance of Red Lotus Demon Venerable. But they all heard the mysterious young-looking Gu immortal call Duke Long his master. He had also walked out of the phantom river of time. Everyone knew that Duke Long was the master of Red Lotus. But why did this happen? Didn't Red Lotus Demon Venerable die? He might be a new disciple of Duke Long. The Gu immortals of the 5 regions were uncertain, but Heavenly Court's battlefield was full of experienced experts, there were many super forces behind them that had secretive information regarding Red Lotus Demon Venerable, they knew quite a lot of things. Thus, be they Heavenly Court or the 3 regions Gu immortals, they looked at the young Gu immortal while dazed like rocks, they were numb from shock. They recognized the young Gu immortal's identity. It was really Red Lotus Demon Venerable. The 3 regions Gu immortals were shaken. Red Lotus Demon Venerable was the disciple of Duke Long, seeing his attitude towards Duke Long, it still carried concern and respect. Heavenly Court did not dare to act rashly. After all, Red Lotus Demon Venerable had invaded Heavenly Court in the past, damaging Fate Gu. After that, in order to repair Fate Gu, Heavenly Court spent over 1,000,000 years, countless resources and manpower. They managed to repair it in the end, but it was a pity that Red Lotus Inheritor, Fang Yuan, destroyed it. It was truly infuriating. And most importantly, there was Red Lotus Demon Venerable's cultivation level. He was a venerable with rank 9 battle strength, once he appeared, who could face him in combat? Even the powerful Duke Long, even the colossal Di Zongsheng, even Fang Yuan who wore the blood battle cape, were no match for the rank 9 Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Nobody held any doubt regarding this. The young-looking Red Lotus guessed everyone's thoughts, he walked on thin air as he got to the center of the battlefield, he smiled, "Everyone, no need to worry, I have already died. Now that Fate Gu is destroyed while Call of the Ancient has barely any power left, I am merely Red Lotus Will." Red Lotus Will was vivid and solid like it was the real person. But upon close inspection, one would realize that there were differences between it and an actual Gu immortal. The immortals managed to discern this as they let out sighs of relief. Red Lotus did not lie, this was his will, not his main body. His reputation was too great, he appeared in a shocking manner, everyone could not help but think of it as the worst-case situation. After Red Lotus informed them, they realized the truth. The bad feeling in Duke Long's heart was getting heavier. Duke Long snorted coldly, shouting, "Red Lotus, even though you have died, you are still not willing to give up that heretical thought. You won this time, thanks to you, Fate Gu has been destroyed by your chosen pawn." Red Lotus shook his head, "Master, this is not a win, precisely so, I had to show up. What are you trying to do? Duke Long frowned, the bad feeling in his heart intensified. Red Lotus replied with action, his body flickered as he appeared before Fong Yuan instantly. Fong Yuan looked at Red Lotus with a calm expression, his gaze was dark like the night sky. He had very deep ties with this venerable. The spring-autumn cicada that he had used to turn situations around many times was the time path immortal Gu created by this person. You did very well. I am sure you've guessed what I am going to do now. Red Lotus smiled at Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan replied, somewhat. Even though Fate Gu is destroyed, the truth is that to use it as a Gu material to refine Destiny Gu, we will need an otherworldly demon like you. Thanks to someone's help, you finally became a complete otherworldly demon. Red Lotus said this as he looked far away, towards the periphery of the battlefield where Spectral Soul and his servants were hiding. Fairy Ziwei and Old Man Zheng Yuan were perspiring profusely. Even though this was just Red Lotus he was simply too terrifying, finding out their hiding spot with one glance. At the hiding spot, Spectral Soul had already returned to human form. He looked at Red Lotus with a complex expression. This was not the first time he had met Red Lotus his memories surfaced from the depths of his mind. Back then, he became a soul path venerable, he entered the river of time to explore its secrets. Even though Spectral Soul Demon Venerable cultivated soul path, with his foundation, he could freely enter and exit the river of time. As the mysterious fog appeared, a stone lotus island appeared in front of him of its own initiative. He stepped onto the stone lotus island as Red Lotus smiled and invited him, I have been waiting, Spectral Soul. Let us make a deal. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable agreed to the transaction. Therefore, he learned of Fate Gu, and also the truth behind the historical invasion of Heavenly Court by the three Demon Venerables. He gave up on the plan to attack Heavenly Court, he went to design and create Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu instead. Red Lotus looked at Spectral Soul, using his gaze as an indication, it is time to carry out our transaction. Spectral Soul chuckled as he ordered Old Man Zheng Yuan, gather all of the human will, send it all to Fong Yuan. Old Man Zheng Yuan immediately moved. At once, the vast amount of human will from Heavenly Court surged. These wills were of all varieties and colors, they were filled with ugly desires or beautiful dreams, one could indulge in them and lose their way, they were beautiful and ugly at the same time. People wanted them but also hated them. Red Lotus looked at the vast amount of will that resembled a rainbow sea. He turned around and smiled at Fong Yuan, before entering the ocean of human will personally. The human wills engulfed him instantly, next, fire started burning out of nowhere, resembling blazing red lotuses that burned the sea of wills. Duke Long saw this and became enraged, this was not something a mere will could achieve, Red Lotus, back then when you attacked Heavenly Court, you actually left this arrangement behind. Before he finished speaking, Duke Long flew up, wanting to destroy the human wills. Don't even think about it. Wu Shuai was prepared for this, he manipulated Dragon Palace to stop him. Both sides fought, Dragon Palace was soon forced to retreat. What are you all waiting for? Duke Long shouted at all the Heavenly Court Gu Immortals. Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals jolted, they started to approach Fong Yuan and the vast sea of wills. The three regions' Gu Immortals were not going to watch, a huge battle erupted again. No matter what Red Lotus is doing, it must be disadvantageous to Heavenly Court, this is something we want to see. Wu Yong's eyes shined with bright light, he shot out countless wind blades around him. Di Zongxing roared angrily, it coiled his body around Fong Yuan and the human wills, resisting killer moves using its body as a shield, growling in pain but refusing to retreat. Bing Sai Chuan rode in Calamity Luck Altar as he resisted Demon Judgment Board. He had a complex gaze, it looked like Red Lotus Demon Venerable was going to refine Destiny Gu as well. This went against Longevity Heaven's goal but he could not stop it or retreat now, he had to fight first. The flames burned the human wills, emitting a dense, sharp fragrance. After Red Lotus fused into the human wills, the vast sea of wills cooperated with Fong Yuan, entering the flames. Lumps of flames spread out, quickly expanding into a sea of fire. The surrounding temperature rose. If rank 6 Gu immortals were not putting up a defense, they would instantly melt due to the flames. Fang Yuan breathed in deeply, the bloody cape protected him, he stood in the sea of fire but he did not make a move. A heavenly court Gu immortal could not help but laugh. Fang Yuan is not making a move, he looks like he does not have destiny immortal Gu's recipe. Fang Yuan looked at the person who was speaking from within the flames, he smiled coldly as his tone carried a hint of pity. I do not have it, but here in this battlefield, somebody does. Who? The fighting immortals all had this question in their heads. Find them and kill them. The heavenly court Gu immortal subconsciously had such thoughts. Find them and protect them. The 3 regions Gu immortals instantly made their decision. Fang Yuan silently shifted his gaze towards Feng Jiugu. Feng Jiugu also looked at him. The two looked at each other through the sea of fire, they stared at each other as if the surrounding fights in the battlefield were far away from them. Feng Jiugu breathed in deeply, he slowly shut his eyes. Next, he opened his mouth and started to sing, the tune of Destiny song spread throughout the battlefield. Feng Jiugu has attacked again. Let's kill Fang Yuan, let's exterminate the human will. Exterminate the human will first, Fang Yuan is secondary. The heavenly court Gu immortals were energized, but at the next moment, they screamed in shock. They were not powered up by Destiny song, instead, the 3 regions Gu immortals gained a boost in strength. Feng Jiugu, what are you doing? Duke Long was furious and shocked, he turned around and looked at Feng Jiugu like a furious blood dragon. Father. Feng Jinhuang's voice was filled with utter shock, it could be heard clearly as well. Feng Jiugu, why are you doing this? You betrayed heavenly court. How dare you, how can you do this? Qin Dingling screamed in a shrill voice, she was extremely furious. In order to nurture Feng Jiugu, she had even given him her responsive luck immortal Gu. But Feng Jiugu actually repaid her like this. Feng Jiugu had a calm expression, he did not stop singing. At this very moment, he betrayed heavenly court unhesitantly, joining Fang Yuan and the 3 regions' allied forces. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1963, Feng Jiugu's Red Lotus True Inheritance. 1963 Feng Jiugu's Red Lotus True Inheritance. The tune of Destiny song filled the battlefield, but at this moment, Feng Jiugu's opponent was Heavenly Court. Regardless of the shock and perplexity of both sides, Feng Jiugu was immersed in his own singing, at the same time, memories surfaced in his mind. During the second invasion of Langya Blessed Land, Fang Yuan set up a formation in the Blessed Land, Feng Jiugu and Chen Yi were isolated. Feng Jiugu faced Fang Yuan alone. My Gu worms are vanishing mysteriously. How can this be? This should be a theft path method. Is it Fang Yuan's method or this formation's? Feng Jiugu was shocked. Because Fang Yuan had theft path methods, Feng Jiugu was at a disadvantage. As time passed, his Gu worms got stolen one by one, among them were several sound path immortal Gu. Feng Jiugu's battle strength fell greatly, he had to choose to use fixed immortal travel immortal Gu to escape for now. Suppress space immortal Gu. But Fang Yuan suddenly used his prepared method, Feng Jiugu failed to escape. Immortal killer move, Great Thief Ghost Hand. Next, Fang Yuan even stole the fixed immortal travel that he was after. Feng Jiugu's heart turned icy cold, he knew that he was in a desperate situation. But at this moment, he received Fang Yuan's secret transmission, O Feng Jiugu, I will not kill you, I will not steal fate armor immortal Gu either. You and I are not on the same side, but you and Heavenly Court are not aligned in beliefs either. Face your true inner self, what do you truly want? Let me ask you, have you started comprehending Destiny song already? Feng Jiugu initially thought that this was a trap by Fang Yuan to affect his fighting spirit and determination, but soon he became very perplexed. Fang Yuan actually slowed down his attacks, he stopped forcing him. This made Feng Jiugu think involuntarily. What does Fang Yuan mean by this? He knows I have fate armor immortal Gu. He reacted so perfectly when we attacked Langya blessed land this time, he made ample preparations. Does this mean he used spring-autumn cicada to rebirth? If he really is reborn, what happened in the previous life? From his words, why does it seem like I will diverge from heavenly court? At this time, Fang Yuan transmitted again, O Feng Jiugu, I know you are full of questions and suspicions. Don't worry, as time passes, you will understand what I mean. Next, I will open the formation and give Chen Yi the false impression that he broke it. I am sure he will teleport you away, we will meet again, Feng Jiugu. Fang Yuan, explain yourself clearly. Feng Jiugu transmitted. But at the next moment, an explosion occurred as the formation space that was isolated became connected. Chen Yi saw Feng Jiugu in danger and quickly shouted loudly, hang on, I'm coming. Be careful, the enemy has a way to steal Gu worms. Feng Jiugu hesitated briefly before immediately giving Chen Yi critical information. During the fight, Fang Yuan attacked ferociously, he critically injured Feng Jiugu, fate armor immortal Gu was activated. In order to save Feng Jiugu, Chen Yi used karma relocation. Feng Jiugu was shocked, Fang Yuan was right, Chen Yi really had a way to send me out. Feng Jiugu, you managed to escape this time, but next time will be different. Fang Yuan had a plain expression. This sentence had a different meaning when it was heard by Feng Jiugu. In the battle of Langya blessed land, heavenly court lost. After the battle, Feng Jiugu considered Fang Yuan's words. He could have killed me but he did not take my life. Why? Fang Yuan is a demon with a ruthless and vicious personality, he only cares about benefits. He let me go, there is only one reason, I will be a big help to him in the future. But I am a Central Continent member, a prospective member of Heavenly Court, the Dao guardian of my daughter Feng Jin Huang. Don't tell me, there will be conflict between me and Heavenly Court. If Fang Yuan is reborn from the future, does that mean that in his previous life, I opposed Heavenly Court, I was his natural ally? As he held such concerns, Feng Jiugu did not inform Fairy Ziwei of this situation. The thing that moved him the most was the destiny song that Fang Yuan mentioned. Destiny song. Feng Jiugu had a vague sensation and inspiration, but his inspiration was too faint and far away, he could not grab onto it. But he knew that this was a direction. He continued to explore it, soon gaining some fragmented comprehension. Until one day, when he was stationed at Embroidered Tower, he looked at the 3 bloody skins left behind by reckless savage demon Venerable. All of the comprehension that he had during this period underwent a qualitative transformation. Feng Jiuji's soul was deeply stirred, he could not help but smile, it seems that my next song will be, Destiny Song. In the Battle of the River of Time. Fang Yuan and Feng Jiugu met again. How is the creation of Destiny Song going? They fought intensely on the surface but Fang Yuan was secretly transmitting to him. Feng Jiugu, Fang Yuan, what is it that you know? Come to the River of Time more often, you should have realized that being here greatly helps your comprehension and creation of Destiny Song. But the most helpful thing is still the Red Lotus true inheritance on the Stone Lotus Island. Fang Yuan said. What do you mean? Feng Jiugu asked. According to my estimations, that should be a true inheritance that Red Lotus Demon Venerable specially left behind for you, it will help you greatly. Fang Yuan said. Feng Jiugu hesitated for a moment before answering, I will not owe you this favor without repaying it. Let me tell you this, in Heavenly Court's Embroidered Tower, there are 3 true inheritances left behind by reckless savage demon Venerable. Each one requires a key, they are Attitude Gu, Mutation Gu, and Adaptation Gu. Oh. A sharp light flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes. He did not think that Feng Jiugu was lying, the items were inside Heavenly Court, there was no need to lie. Back then, to repay the favor of saving him in the winds of assimilation, Feng Jiugu blocked Wu Yong's assault. Now, it also fitted Feng Jiuji's nature to expose this secret true inheritance to him. In this battle, Fang Yuan still let him go, causing Feng Jiugu to survive again. Central Continent's Refinement Path Convention started, multiple battlefields were created as Gu immortals fought intensely. At such a crucial timing, Favourite Gu was instead inside the river of time. That, really is a stone lotus island. Favourite Gu was shook internally. The stone lotus island within the mist appeared in front of him, as Fang Yuan had predicted. He saw Red Lotus Will on the island. Red Lotus Will smiled, "You are finally here, Favourite Gu. This is the true inheritance that I left specially for you." Favourite Gu frowned, "No matter how much you give me, it will not change my stance." Red Lotus Will shook his head, "I had never thought of bribing you, your choice is your own decision. I just feel that this true inheritance should be left to you. Of course, you can refuse to take it. Even if you destroy it, I am not going to stop you." Favourite Gu believed in himself. After considering it, he decided to accept the true inheritance. He immersed himself in a certain segment of the memories of Red Lotus life. Red Lotus was undergoing tribulation, trying to get to rank 9 Venerable Realm. The terrifying might of the calamities and tribulations made Favourite Gu extremely shocked and fearful. After the tribulation was over, only half of the heavenly court Gu immortals who helped Red Lotus were alive. The most painful thing to Red Lotus was that his wife Lu Xian had died. This was his most beloved woman. "Don't leave me, Xian." Red Lotus hugged Lu Xian as tears poured down his face. Lu Xian smiled, "It's no use, I have been struck by the tribulation. Having a trace of my soul left to take a final look at you is already an enormous fortune. How could I possibly ask for more? I am useless, I am useless. I underwent tribulation but implicated you." Hong Ting's head was lowered with tears rolling down his eyes. "No, Hong Ting. That tribulation could only have been blocked by my special physique. Even if you all sacrificed your lives, you would only have failed. I was born with one of the 10 extreme physiques and encountered you, it was all fate's arrangement. In your fatal moment, I suddenly understood the greatest meaning of my life, it was to protect you, to block the tribulation for you and help you ascend to the position of an immortal venerable. Now, I have accomplished it." "No, no. Xianxia, I would rather not be an immortal venerable, I only want you to live, I only want you to live." Hong Ting roared helplessly, his body was shaking and his tears were falling. "Everything and everyone in this world has its own respective fate, it is fixed. Hong Ting, you cannot have such thoughts, you need to live on properly, your fate is to become an immortal venerable, lead heavenly court and spread the glory of the righteous path throughout the 5 regions. Do you know? I had always been wanting to see that scene, standing by your side and accompanying you as you bring fortune to the world with invincible might. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see it." Lu Xian's life force gradually fell, until she died. Hong Ting's head was lowered and his back was bent deeply like an old man, a heavy shadow shrouded his face. At this moment, he seemed to have lost all signs of life. Incomparable grief, it was as if his heart had died. Regret Gu formed in Red Lotus immortal aperture, he decided to change everything. For the sake of this, he turned on Duke Long and Heavenly Court. He went on the opposite path. Red Lotus used spring-autumn cicada to rebirth tens or hundreds of times. The tribulation faded, this time, even though Lu Xian was heavily injured, she still had one breath left. "Xianxia, you are still alive, you are still alive, this is great." Red Lotus was overjoyed. Guh. Lu Xian suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, her last breath was used up. "Xianxia." Red Lotus was shocked, he looked at Lu Xian's corpse in a daze as his eyes turned red. "I can still do it, I can see hope. As long as I continue working hard, I will definitely become strong enough to save Xianxia's life." A fierce light flashed in Red Lotus' eyes, he muttered to himself as if he had gone into a demonic trance. Rebirth after rebirth, he continued to be reborn. Using the advantage of rebirth, he got stronger and stronger, he became more capable of handling different situations. He had abundant experience, he made use of every portion of resources and elevated his strength to his greatest limit. However, like an endless loop, each time, he had to face the tribulation of becoming a venerable. The scale and might of the tribulation was adjusted according to the changes that happened to Red Lotus. This made sure that the result of the tribulation had never changed. Those Gu immortals that should have died still died, including Lu Xian. Red Lotus continued to try without giving up. 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times. He analyzed, he calculated, he maximized the value of every single resource he had, he asked for all the help he needed from Heavenly Court to the best of their ability. Xianxia. Red Lotus hugged Lu Xian. Lu Xian gave him a final glance. It is great that you are safe. After saying that, she died. Xianxia. Red Lotus hugged Lu Xian again. Lu Xian did not have the strength to talk. She exerted her strength and wanted to raise her hand to touch Red Lotus' face, but she did not succeed. Midway, her arms fell to the ground. Xianxia. Red Lotus shouted furiously. He watched as Lu Xian was reduced to ashes within the lightning tribulation. Xian. Red Lotus looked at Lu Xian, who was badly poisoned. His footsteps slowed down. Lu Xian's entire body was black-purple, poisonous blood flowed out of her 7 orifices. She smiled pitifully. Hongting, don't be sad because of me. All the sacrifices are worth it. You must become a venerable, you will lead Heavenly Court and the whole of humanity. These were her final words. Red Lotus stopped walking. He stared at the pool of poisonous water formed from Lu Xian's corpse. He held his fist as he gritted his teeth. She died again. I need to continue working harder. Xian. After the tribulation, Red Lotus flew towards Lu Xian again. Lu Xian shook her head. She was pale. I am going to die. I can no longer accompany you, my most beloved. It will depend on the situation to see if you die. Let me check. Red Lotus had not given up. I know my own condition. Listen to me. At the final moment of my life, I want to tell you. Lu Xian's aura got weaker as she spoke weakly with pauses in the middle. Red Lotus did not listen to her. He was focused on inspecting her body condition. The result was that there was no way to save her. By the time he reacted, Lu Xian, who was in his arms, had already died. There must be some way. I can definitely improve further. Red Lotus reminded himself. It was as if Hongting was trapped. No matter what method he used, even if he avoided the tribulation, Lu Xian still died. Feng Jiugu watched Red Lotus fail time and time again. He repeated attempts after attempts. An intense feeling of sadness and grief accumulated in his heart. He watched as Red Lotus screamed. He watched as Red Lotus got agitated. He watched as Red Lotus gritted his teeth. He watched as Red Lotus left in hatred, as he went through another cycle of rebirth. Each time, Red Lotus carried hope, but he gained disappointment instead. The tribulation to become venerable was unavoidable. He could not give up on it, but he could not control it either. Lu Xian was a wall that could not be avoided. Each time Red Lotus was reborn, he would need to accept this cruel fact. Each time he tried, he would see his beloved woman die in the end. Each time he got injured, the pain in his heart would be the same as physical pain on his body, but Red Lotus still continued to rebirth. It was as if he were holding a knife to his heart, stabbing at it continuously. Even though Feng Jiugu held deep admiration and sympathy for Red Lotus, he alerted himself to control his emotions. This might be a venerable method after all. As an observer, Feng Jiugu kept a cool perspective. He gradually realized, in the initial stages, Red Lotus would still scream at heaven in great agony whenever she died. But towards the later stages, Red Lotus stubbornly analyzed the situation with a rational mind. His expression was dark. At the final stage, Red Lotus' efficiency got higher and higher. Whenever he saw that Lu Xian could not be saved, he would instantly rebirth without any hesitation. Finally, there was one attempt. Lu Xian fell on the ground. The bones in her entire body were broken. She laid in a pool of blood with her final breath left. Red Lotus descended rapidly, quickly approaching her. Hongting. I am going to die, you must. Lu Xian smiled, watching as Red Lotus rapidly approached her. Red Lotus had a cold expression. He looked at her impassively. There is no saving you. I failed again, but it is all right. I will never give up. I am going to try once more. Lu Xian was shocked. Hongting, what are you saying? Red Lotus turned around and left as Lu Xian, who was behind him, called out with her dying breath, Hong Ting. Red Lotus moved quickly initially, but when he heard Lu Xian's desperate cry, his footsteps slowed down as he came to a halt. He looked down at his two hands. In the deathly silence, Red Lotus stared with wide eyes, his body started to shake. Suddenly, he felt like he could see himself. At this moment, he felt utter shock, there was a sense of immense fear in him. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1964, Red Lotus, Death. 1964 Red Lotus, Death. Why? Why did I become such a scary person? In the past, Hong Ting would feel grief at Lu Xian's death, he would feel regret and hatred. He would hug Lu Xian's corpse as he knelt on the ground, crying his heart out. But now, facing Lu Xian's death, seeing the final moment of Lu Xian's life, towards the lover who only wanted to spend her final breath talking to her most beloved, Red Lotus turned around and left. Was this Lu Xian not the real Lu Xian? Of course she was real. Red Lotus was clear about this. She was still her, that same Lu Xian, regardless of how many times Red Lotus was reborn, her determination and actions had never changed. She was willing to sacrifice herself to protect her lover, she used her life to block his venerable tribulation. But Lu Xian was still Lu Xian, but Hong Ting was no longer the same Hong Ting. Since when did it start? Since when did I turn into this? Red Lotus asked his inner self. This question was not hard at all, he soon found the answer. His countless rebirths, his countless attempts, the countless times Lu Xian died, and the countless times he received disappointment. His heart was hurt time and again, he bled each time. Before the scab formed, Hong Ting tore open his wounds once more. He was hurt too many times, he felt pain too many times, he regretted too many times. Too many times indeed. Eventually, he got used to it, he became, gradually numb. Thus, he started to calculate with precision. Thus, he started to analyze rationally. He used every resource he had to strengthen himself and equip himself. He tried different methods in search of the strongest and most likely solution to preserve Lu Xian's life when he underwent his tribulation. When he started to think rationally, when he started to feel rational about Lu Xian's death, even though he forced himself to be rational at the start, he changed. Next, slowly, step by step, he turned into someone that he did not recognize. This person made him feel extremely shocked and fearful, followed by a deep sense of helplessness. This scene left an extremely deep impression in Favourite Gu. Red Lotus stood on the spot, lowering his arms. He was young but his back was hunched, like an old man about to die. Silently, 2 trails of tears flowed down his cheeks. Silently weeping. Behind Red Lotus, there was Lu Xian, who called him with her dying breath, hoping that he would turn around, so that she could see her most beloved person at the final moment of her life. But Red Lotus did not turn around to look at her. Red Lotus no longer loved her. After all, if he really loved this person in his heart and she was about to die, would he coldly turn around to leave? Of course he would not. Even though his goal was to use rebirth to save Lu Xian, that was only a deeply rooted objective that he had. The reason behind it was no longer love. It was truly laughable. He wanted to save the most beloved person in his life, but along the way, Red Lotus lost his love. No matter how many times Lu Xian died, she did not betray him, she sacrificed herself for him. But Red Lotus himself had changed. He betrayed his past self, he betrayed Lu Xian. He wanted to rebirth and change the past, but to think that it was rebirth that changed him. From now what should he do? Since he no longer loved Lu Xian, why should he continue to rebirth and try to save her? Of course, he had other regrets, he loved his parents deeply. But did Red Lotus dare to attempt this? He could almost tell the results already. After witnessing the death of his parents time and again, he would get used to it, he would get numb, he would accept this result that was decreed by fate. Red Lotus did not dare. Then, should he accept this result? After rebirth, should he pretend to be unaware of everything, to follow the path set by fate and become a venerable, before becoming the heavenly court immortal venerable that everyone including his master wanted to see? Red Lotus did not want that. He still had love in his heart, towards his parents and master. Because there was love, there was also regret. He also had hatred in his heart, he hated fate, because he no longer loved Lu Xian, he also hated himself. He had all sorts of complex emotions in his heart. Red Lotus was unsure about them himself. Red Lotus asked himself truthfully, he inspected his inner self. He still wanted to destroy Fate Gu. But the intention was already different. He started to research and found more of the hidden profundities within U003C U003C The Legends of Reverend Insanity EU003E. When he comprehended the crucial factor, love Gu, he successfully used it to save Lu Xian's life. Of course, the price was that Red Lotus succeeded in the tribulation but did not become venerable. As an observer, Feng Jiugu understood clearly, this was definitely a major breakthrough. The venerable tribulation could not be controlled by man. No matter how Red Lotus stalled it, he had to undergo tribulation eventually. But using love immortal Gu, he finally changed a fixed result. Instead of dying, Lu Xian managed to survive. Of course, there was a backlash of Red Lotus not becoming venerable, that was also a result. Both results changed. Xian, you are still alive. You finally survived. Red Lotus, who succeeded, was very excited, he hugged Lu Xian. Lu Xian was in low spirits. What is going on? Hongting, you did not become venerable. Red Lotus laughed loudly, that is because I used love Gu. Do you know how many times I was reborn while trying to save you? You should have died during the tribulation, but because of my countless attempts, I researched the human path methods contained within U003C U003C The Legends of Reverend Insanity EU003E. Red Lotus was incredibly excited, he talked about his difficult journey, his experiences and hard work, the trials and ordeals that he went through each time in his experimentation. But I finally succeeded, I finally succeeded. Red Lotus raised his arms and cheered, even though this is a minor change, this is the proper direction. One day, I will succeed completely. Slap. A crisp sound was heard as Lu Xian gave Red Lotus a slap. Red Lotus instantly froze, his cheering came to a stop as he stared at Lu Xian. Lu Xian's eyes had tears. Hongting, are you still yourself? You actually had such heretical thoughts. You actually wanted to change the past. You defied fate, no wonder you failed to become venerable after the tribulation. You did all these just so I could survive. All those people who helped you in the tribulation, what about the heavenly court Gu immortals who were sacrificed? You said that you are doing all this for me, but have you ever considered my feelings? I, Lu Xian, was born with one of the 10 extreme physiques and encountered you, it was all fate's arrangement. In your fatal moment, I understood the greatest meaning of my life, it was to protect you, to block the tribulation for you and help you ascend to the position of an immortal venerable. But you actually did this. For me, you abandoned the most precious chance to become venerable. If you cannot become venerable, what will happen to heavenly court? What will happen to the world? What about humanity? You forgot your master's teachings, you let down the expectations of your deceased parents. I am truly hurt, my heart really hurts. I would rather sacrifice myself. Your love towards me is just a small love. Greater love is for humanity, for the myriad living beings in this world. Hongting, I am truly disappointed in you. Lu Xian cried profusely. Red Lotus stared at Lu Xian in a daze. After a long while, he let out a breath of air. So that was it. Red Lotus had a calm expression, his gaze became eerie and dark. Lu Xian grabbed his arms, quickly think of a method, you must have some way, right? Let everything return to its original path as decreed by fate, even if I have to be sacrificed. How can our love compare to the greater love of heaven and earth? How can it compare to the grand ambitions of heavenly court? Guh. Lu Xian's body suddenly shook, she lowered her head as she looked at her chest. Red Lotus's hand directly stabbed into her heart, it was a fatal blow. Lu Xian looked at her lover in disbelief. Maybe killing you will return everything to its original path. Red Lotus looked at Lu Xian in the eye as he said plainly. Lu Xian showed a blissful smile as he said, Hongting, I was not wrong about you. Please become a venerable. At the next moment, she died again. Similar to the countless times Red Lotus had experienced, Lu Xian died again. But compared to the countless times Red Lotus had experienced, there was a difference. Lu Xian was truly dead. In Red Lotus's heart, she was completely dead. From then on, she never lived again. Red Lotus looked at her corpse with calm emotions, there was not even any ripple in his heart. The woman he had once loved deeply, he was willing to give up anything for her, he was reborn time and time again, working hard to save this woman who he had never given up on. But now, he killed her. He personally killed her. Red Lotus felt no regret in his heart, he even gained some insight. The cause of this tragedy was in heavenly court, it was Fate Gu. At this moment, his determination to destroy Fate Gu could not be any firmer. Feng Jiugu felt the scene in front of him change. Heavenly Court. The battle was over, the entire area was in ruins. On the damaged top floor of Heaven Overseeing Tower, Duke Long and Red Lotus faced each other. Duke Long had evidently undergone a tough battle, he was covered in blood and injuries. He looked at Red Lotus as he sighed deeply, "Oh Hongting, one mistake leads to countless mistakes, to think that you have already reached this point. You want to destroy Fate Gu? Go ahead." Saying this, Duke Long took the initiative to give way. Red Lotus was slightly shocked, he walked towards Fate Gu. Most Gu worms had fragile bodies, but no matter how much force he used, Fate Gu was like the strongest object in the world, he could not destroy it. Regardless of what method you use, you cannot destroy Fate Gu. Hongting, you are not the only one, be they limitless demon venerable or reckless savage demon venerable, they came here in the past, but their methods were all useless against Fate Gu. In this world, only a complete otherworldly demon can destroy Fate Gu. But otherworldly demons are not complete when they come into our world. Thus, nobody in this world can destroy Fate Gu. Duke Long said this as he showed intense fatigue, Hongting, come back. It is not too late to turn over a new leaf. Even though you have sinned greatly and made many mistakes, Heavenly Court and I are willing to give you a chance to redeem yourself, we can start over again. Even at this point, Duke Long was still urging Red Lotus, he was unwilling to give up. Red Lotus was silent for a long time, he turned around to face Duke Long, smiling, "Oh Master, since the two demon venerables could not destroy Fate Gu, why did you not place Fate Gu in front of me from the start, to let me try doing so and give up?" Duke Long was silent. Red Lotus continued as he smiled, "That means you are afraid too, right? You are afraid that I might have a brand new method that is able to destroy Fate Gu." Duke Long smiled bitterly, "Of course. Times are changing, Gu cultivation paths are emerging endlessly. Many theories in the past are no longer appropriate now, even I am unsure if there is really a way to destroy Fate Gu. But at this time, I can no longer stop you, I can only take a risk and try. But you've seen the result yourself, too." Red Lotus pondered, Fate Gu arranged the lives of everyone and everything in this world, you and I, even a rock or a ripple in a lake is part of this. But Master, have you ever thought about it? A human is not a rock nor a ripple, we have cognition. If a person is not happy with the life arranged by fate, what should this person do? Duke Long looked at Red Lotus, "You've read U003CU003C The Legends of Renzu 003 EU003E2, when Renzu met Fate Gu, he tried to escape from its restraints and pursue freedom Gu. What happened to him? He did not manage to grasp freedom, he lost himself and became insane, he sank into madness. This is the outcome, this is the warning. A person has to accept their fate and live their life, they have to shoulder the responsibilities given to them by fate, they need to do what they are tasked to do. Red Lotus laughed loudly, I understand, thank you Master for the teaching. Duke Long saw that his expression was strange, he felt something amiss. At the next moment, extreme fear and shock appeared on Duke Long's face. He found that as Red Lotus exerted strength in his fingers, the Fate Gu in his hand was actually shaking lightly, cracks appeared all over its body. Red Lotus. Duke Long was furious, he attacked. He went all out. Red Lotus did not dodge at all, he was hit by Duke Long. This was a fatal injury. You. Duke Long was shocked, he suddenly realized that Red Lotus had purposely angered him so that he would deal a fatal blow. At the final moment of his life, Red Lotus still smiled as he faced Duke Long, Master, I've always admired and cared for you, even after countless rebirths, my admiration towards you have never decreased. But now, I need you to understand something. Look at me. Fate has given such preferential treatment to me, arranging such high status and accomplishments. But I was not happy, I wanted to rebel. Then let me ask you, in this world, there are countless others who lead worse lives than me, what do they think of fate? People are not rocks or ripples, we have cognition. The truth is, cognitive madness is the most scary thing, it is the most powerful. Saying so, Red Lotus handed Fate Gu to Duke Long. This is all I can do. Love Gu is able to damage fate. Master, are you shocked? It is a pity that I am not an otherworldly demon. But I tried my best to make arrangements, I did everything that I could. I left hope for the future. Other than that, there is nothing to look forward to in my life, I might as well die like this now. But I believe that one day in the future, Fate Gu will be destroyed. Even if it is not me, someone else will do it. I want to believe that in the future, I will not be alone, a group of people will attempt to destroy fate. Master, you cannot stop it, Heavenly Court cannot stop it, because you cannot stop people from thinking with their free will. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1965, He was still Feng Jiu Gu. 1965 He was still Feng Jiu Gu. On Stone Lotus Island, Feng Jiu Gu browsed through the memories left behind by Red Lotus. He returned to reality. Red Lotus was like a real person, extremely vivid, other than my memories, I have two things for you. One is rank 8 future self-killer move, the other is the immortal Gu recipe of Destiny Gu. Next, Red Lotus will explain in detail, rank 8 future self-killer move will allow you to instantly gain pseudo-venerable battle strength. After all, you are the Tao Guardian of the predestined Great Dream Immortal Venerable. In history, as long as Tao Guardians matured, they would have such a cultivation level. Future Self will also allow you to utilize your strongest state in the future at this moment. As for Destiny Gu's Immortal Gu recipe, even though it is just an incomplete Gu recipe, it was created according to the Destiny Song that you will create in the future. It has the same origin as your Destiny Song. 1,000 years later, you will create the complete Destiny Song. But I cannot give it to you directly, because Fate Gu is not destroyed completely yet, it will not allow this. Thus, I used another method, converting it into a rank 9 Destiny Gu recipe, it will be a huge help to you, you will comprehend Destiny Song in its initial form. Feng Jiu Gu was moved. The true inheritance from Red Lotus was completely suited for his needs, he could not refuse. But he did not lose his cool, he acutely sensed the meaning behind Red Lotus Will's words. The initial form of Destiny Song? Feng Jiu Gu asked. Red Lotus's will nodded, indeed. For the following 1,000 years, you will modify Destiny Song many times. Eventually, you will make this killer move extremely profound, at the last modification, this killer move will actually possess the ability to grow on its own. The more Gu immortals hit by it, the more it can extract the power of destiny from them to grow further. This is an excellent killer move. However, I need to remind you something. As long as Fate Gu still exists, your Destiny Song will be suppressed and sealed. Feng Jiu Gu shook his head, Red Lotus Demon Venerable, thank you for the true inheritance. I understand what you mean. In fact, before now, Fang Yuan had already reminded me many times. But I will not destroy fate or resist heavenly court just because of your true inheritance. Red Lotus will smiled lightly, I am not asking for anything. I am only sharing my experience with you. I place this crucial strength to break free from fate in your hands. As for your choice, that is up to you. The decision will be made by you in the end, won't it? Feng Jiugu left the Stone Lotus Island with a heavy heart. Fate showed preferential treatment for Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Even though it took his parents and lover, he was given unparalleled talent and aptitude, he had supreme strength and status. But Red Lotus was not willing to accept this. People were not puppets, they had their own thoughts. Even the Venerable Red Lotus was like this. What about me, a Tao Guardian? Feng Jiugu thought about himself. Seeing the growth of Feng Jin Huang could truly bring joy and happiness to her parents. Let alone his Tao Guardian status, even without it, why would Feng Jiugu not defend his own daughter? But, is this Tao Guardian status something I like and truly desire? Feng Jiugu asked himself in his heart. The truth was, nobody had ever asked him about it. Be they Duke Long, Qin Ding Ling, or even the Supreme Elders of Spirit Affinity House, nobody asked him. It was as if this status was glory, it was something natural to accept. Feng Jiugu should have been overjoyed to receive it, there was no need to ask such a redundant question. But was it really that case? Feng Jiugu thought of another deeper question, why do people live? This problem was just too broad and deep, the answer varied according to the person. 1,000 people would come up with 1,000 answers, in fact, even the same person would have different answers at different time periods. Feng Jiugu could not answer this question. He could only take a step back and ask himself truthfully, for what purpose do I live? Feng Jiugu could not help but think back to his life experience. He loved music when he was young, he did not hesitate to cultivate sound path. From the start of his cultivation journey, he wanted to create a total of 9 songs, to express himself, to express all living beings, and to express heaven and earth. After that, he found a fortuitous encounter in a mountain valley. He by chance discovered the inheritance left behind by a sound path great expert, spatial sound immortal master. He started to cultivate in the valley alone, feeling no loneliness at all. He was immersed in the delight of music, he cultivated and lived every day in a fulfilling manner. In this valley, he easily passed the crucial tribulation and became a rank 6 Gu immortal without causing a commotion. After becoming a Gu immortal, Feng Jiugu did not have any emotion of pride or desire to show off. Everything was natural, plain and simple. He continued to cultivate in the valley and develop his immortal aperture, going from rank 6 to rank 7. One day, 2 Gu immortals arrived in the valley, they sang with Feng Jiugu. Back then, it was nighttime with the moon hanging high and light wind blowing gently, causing ripples in a glittering lake in the valley. As the 3 Gu immortals sang in harmony, time flew by rapidly, and they had sung till dawn. The 3 stopped singing and started laughing. They did not greet each other, but left full of joy. Afterwards, the 2 were framed and hunted by the righteous path. After Feng Jiugu learned of this, he did not hesitate, he stepped forward to help them. Thereafter, the unstoppable legend was created, he fought against all 10 great ancient sects alone, he became a renowned champion in the world. The 10 great ancient sects lost their reputation, they accused Feng Jiugu of being a demonic cultivator and joined forces to resist him. Feng Jiugu was not afraid, fighting as he continuously traveled a huge distance, suddenly changing his tactic and going for the enemy headquarters, causing the 10 sects to lose miserably. The scene was total chaos and there was nothing anyone could do. During this process, Feng Jiugu met with Spirit Affinity House's Fairy Bai Qing, they developed feelings for each other. Feng Jiugu went into Spirit Affinity House and became a Righteous Path member. Afterwards, Spirit Affinity House's reputation soared, by relying on Feng Jiugu's strength, their territory expanded, firmly suppressing the other 9 ancient sects. Following that, 88 True Yang building collapsed, Feng Jiugu led his group to investigate the situation. Thus, a series of future events occurred, he was by chance saved by Fang Yuan and repaid the debt in southern border, blocking Wuyong for him. After repaying the debt, Feng Jiugu chased after Fang Yuan again. Until this point, Feng Yuan let Feng Jiugu go multiple times and even reminded and guided him to the Stone Lotus Island, gaining a Red Lotus true inheritance. If my entire life's journey was arranged by Fate Gu, was I willingly living this life? Feng Jiugu shook his head. He was more willing to see it from another perspective. It was all my choice. Back then, I chose to stand up for the two immortals. I gave up my life of peaceful seclusion because of the anger in my heart. I wanted to seek justice. I married Fairy Bai Qing and had a child with her. That was because I loved her. I taught my daughter Feng Jin Huang and raised her into an adult. That was also my love to my child. It was not decreed by fate. If fate wants me to lose Bai Qing and Jin Huang, will I do the same as Red Lotus? If I have a good chance at this moment, in which as long as I make a move, I can destroy fate, will I do it? Destroying fate went against his own benefits. After all, Feng Jin Huang was the great dream immortal venerable decreed by Fate Gu. But does Feng Jin Huang herself really want to become great dream immortal venerable? Feng Jiugu suddenly realized that just like how nobody had asked him if he wanted his status as a Dao guardian, nobody had asked Feng Jin Huang if she really wanted to become great dream immortal venerable. Including Feng Jiugu himself. It was as if everything was natural and a matter of fact, there was nothing to question. Feng Jiugu asked himself an even deeper question. If Huang Er likes the fate of becoming great dream immortal venerable, while Fate Gu is right in front of me and I can easily destroy it, then, will I do it? This question made Feng Jiugu hesitate. He was unsure, he was perplexed, he was lost. Reality did not give him time or space to think about this closely. The battle to repair Fate Gu was still in heated commotion now. Feng Jiugu had to join the battle. On Hairy Foot Mountain, he saved Feng Jin Huang by singing Destiny Song. With rank 8 future self, he was one of the strongest Gu immortals in the world. Destiny Song's power made even Di Zongxing falter. On the battlefield, Feng Jiugu met with Feng Yuan once again. Feng Yuan transmitted secretly, "Oh Feng Jiugu, you finally created Destiny Song. What do you think of this killer move?" Feng Jiugu was silent. He had to admit that this was truly his song. It was a song that he would create with his personality. His voice was contained in this song. Yes, he did not want to acknowledge the existence of fate, but he felt deep emotions towards the cruelty and profundity of fate. He observed the lives of countless people. They had their highs and lows. He saw the hope, struggle, joy, happiness, sadness, and despair of these people. If one says that fate is fixed while luck is a variable, then I desire that variable to exist within the people and all life forms. These changes should occur from one's own choice. Feng Jiugu understood the truest intention in his heart. I did not create Fate Song, I created Destiny Song. This is the most honest thought I have in my inner heart. At this moment, he realized the scheme that Feng Yuan and Red Lotus Demon Venerable had plotted. They knew about his nature, so they did not try to convince him. They only passed Destiny Song to Feng Jiugu, and used Feng Jiugu's voice to convince himself. Indeed. This Destiny Song that Feng Jiugu sang allowed him to support the Heavenly Court Gu immortals and raise their strength. When he sang for the enemies, they would weaken. But the truth was, he was singing for himself, he was singing to understand his true feelings. And thus, he understood. He loved Fairy Bai Qing, he also loved his daughter Feng Jiugu. But Feng Jiugu was not alive for their sake. His wife and daughter were just choices he made in his life journey. They were part of his life, but not the entirety. For what purpose am I alive? This question brought him back to the starting point. He wanted to sing 9 songs, to express life, to express heaven and earth. Currently, he had already created 9 songs. But he has not sang everything about life and the world yet. He had to continue singing. But as he sang, fate restrained him. It was like an invisible pair of hands strangling him. How could he sing freely like this? Seeing that Feng Jiugu did not reply to him, Feng Yuan transmitted while in intense combat, "Oh Feng Jiugu, your voice is your aspiration. How can the person who created Destiny Song be aligned with Heavenly Court?" Feng Jiugu was calm as he replied secretly, "You know me well. But even so, I will not join you. Unless you can create a situation where we can easily destroy fate, otherwise, I will not help you before that. Heavenly Court and Central Continent have treated me well, so everything still depends on you." Fong Yuan chuckled, then watch properly. Next, he purposely got hit by Duke Long. He fell towards Embroidered Tower, activating Reckless Savage Demon Venerable's hidden arrangement. Unexpected to Feng Jiugu, Fong Yuan used Reckless Savage Demon Venerable's strength to overwhelm heaven, directly destroying Fate Gu. After that, upon hearing Duke Long's words, Feng Jiugu realized that the battle had not ended yet. When Red Lotus will appeared once more, Feng Jiugu gradually realized the plot that Red Lotus Demon Venerable had set. Thus, when Fong Yuan asked for Destiny Gu's recipe, Feng Jiugu finally took action. He helped Fong Yuan. He was also making his own choice. In the past, when he helped the two immortals while challenging the 10 great ancient sects, he had once said, "Neither demonic nor righteous, there is only Feng Jiugu in this world. To leave or to stay, I decide my own life and death." Now, should he stay or leave? This question could not puzzle him anymore. He, Feng Jiugu, had turned from the demonic path to the righteous path. Now, it was time to go back. Because Feng Jiugu was still Feng Jiugu in the end. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1966, Great Era. 1966 Great Era. Feng Jiugu. Duke Long screamed, charging towards him. Immortal Killer Move, Dragon Claw Strike. Immortal Killer Move, Spiraling Dragon Fang. Claw marks emerged, nearly 10 feet long, cutting through the air with invincible might. Dragon fangs flew everywhere, like piercing sharp blades, circling and flying while emitting murderous aura. Feng Jiugu retreated slowly as he continued to sing his destiny song. Around him, there were several clones. They looked like him but had mystical powers. Immortal Killer Move, Song Warrior. Song warriors fought for Feng Jiugu, not only blocking the dragon claws and fangs but even fighting against Duke Long. After several rounds, Duke Long destroyed a Song warrior. But next, a brand new Song warrior appeared on the battlefield, engaging with Duke Long in combat. Duke Long instantly understood that killing these clones was pointless. The true way to fight was to go after the source, to directly deal with Feng Jiugu. Immortal Killer Move, Dragon Gate. Duke Long crossed a large distance and approached Feng Jiugu. Feng Jiugu calmly activated Yang Pass Tune as he pulled apart their distance once again. Duke Long was unable to fight Feng Jiugu in close combat. He could only use Chi Path Killer moves to attack at a distance. Feng Jiugu showed no fear. His destiny song continued to weaken Duke Long while he used his hands to unleash the triple extreme sound killer move, with drum fist, bell palm, and finger whistle. Feng Jiugu fought against Duke Long while exchanging many blows. They unexpectedly were evenly matched. Rank 8 Future Self brought a qualitative transformation to Feng Jiugu's battle strength. While the three regions Gu immortals hesitated on whether to help Feng Jiugu, they were shocked to realize, Feng Jiugu did not need anyone's help. The battle strength he displayed shocked everyone. Duke Long was unable to take down Feng Jiugu. He was shocked and furious. At this point, he realized that even though Feng Jiugu was fighting earlier, he had been keeping his true strength hidden. He did not use his full power at all. Right now, Duke Long wanted to destroy Red Lotus' scheme. But Feng Yuan was a tough enemy. Duke Long knew about his strength, so he chose to fight Feng Jiugu instead. As long as Feng Jiugu was disrupted and Destiny Song failed to activate, then Feng Yuan and the others would not have the Immortal Gu recipe. They would not succeed. But Feng Jiugu's strength far exceeded Duke Long's expectations. He could only attack more aggressively while trying to take down Feng Jiugu as soon as possible. Duke Long was stalled by Feng Jiugu, while Wu Shui controlled Dragon Palace to defend Feng Yuan's main body. Calamity Luck Altar was blocking Demon Judgment Board. Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals unleashed a storm of attacks, but the other three regions Gu Immortals and Di Zongxing stopped them. The battle situation was tilting in the favor of the three regions Gu Immortals, but Feng Yuan was facing a problem now. The sea of human wills was vast and turbulent. Using the human wills as Gu material to refine Destiny Gu was wishful thinking. But it was a possible method. Under the effect of Destiny Song, the human wills and flames merged, refined into a mystical Gu material that was formless and colorless. Fang Yuan, who was controlling this Gu refinement session, had to endure the terrifying waves of human wills. He had to calm the human wills like subduing tides, sending them to the respective tributaries. Fang Yuan's expression quickly turned dark, his veins were bulging on his forehead, thoughts collided endlessly in his mind, he could not keep up with this expenditure, his storage of thoughts was rapidly used up, about to be emptied. At the periphery of the battlefield, Spectral Soul and his servants kept a close watch on the situation. Fairy Ziwei saw Fang Yuan's expression as she analyzed, "Oh no, Fang Yuan is not in good shape. I know about his wisdom path foundation, he is most skilled at blocking deductions and concealing his true location. But this refinement expends his thoughts and focuses on his cognitive ability. The sea of human will is truly terrifying, even I myself cannot last long in it." But Spectral Soul smiled lightly, saying calmly, "Don't worry, a certain venerable has already prepared for this. Fang Yuan should know what to do." Spectral Soul could not help but recall the past. When he was still alive, exploring 88 True Yang Building. There, he found Wisdom Gu, he also saw Giant Sun Special Will left behind by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Back then, he wanted to immediately take Wisdom Gu for himself. "Spectral Soul, I would like you to let Wisdom Gu remain here. Giant Sun Special Will had to show up and stop him." Spectral Soul Demon Venerable smiled coldly, "You can't stop me." Giant Sun Special Will nodded, "Of course, you are the current Demon Venerable, invincible in the world, I have no way of stopping you. But I am sure you have made a deal with Red Lotus Demon Venerable already." Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's expression changed, before coming here, he had obtained one Red Lotus true inheritance, he made a deal with Red Lotus Demon Venerable. "You mean to say?" Spectral Soul Demon Venerable hesitated. "That's right, my main body has made arrangements in this Wisdom Gu. When the crucial person arrives, he will destroy 88 True Yang Building, this Wisdom Gu will go along with him. Giant Sun Special Will said openly. "So that's it." Spectral Soul Demon Venerable looked at Wisdom Gu deeply but did not take it. At this moment, "I've already given it my best effort, it seems I need to use Wisdom Gu after all." Fang Yuan sighed. By now, he had already guessed many of the venerable arrangements. Wisdom Gu was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's arrangement, but unlike those of Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable and Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, it had activated long ago. Back then, Fang Yuan was unaware of this. Fang Yuan had just opened his Immortal Aperture's entrance when Wisdom Gu flew out by itself, floating above Fang Yuan as it emitted a divine radiance. Fang Yuan instantly felt relaxed as his expression went back to normal, he felt a sense of ease. So that's it. He inspected it closely, realizing, Wisdom Gu is one of the Gu materials, no wonder it is so effective. With the addition of Wisdom Gu, my thoughts are expended more slowly, but my immortal essence expenditure is huge. This rate of consumption is not something I can sustain. Even though the Sovereign Immortal Aperture's rate of time was very fast and could accumulate immortal essence rapidly, Fang Yuan had undergone many intense battles, the expenditure was high as well. Once he fails to keep up with the expenditure, the Gu refinement would be forced to stop, Fang Yuan would suffer an overwhelmingly terrifying backlash. But Fang Yuan was not flustered, he was cool as ice. He knew clearly, at this point in time, the Venerables were not going to watch by the side. As long as he still had a trace of value, he was irreplaceable, the Venerables could not allow him to die at this moment. Next, it should be your turn to take action, Giant Sun. Far away in black heaven, a dark gold palace floated quietly in the sky. In the palace, immortal zombie Giant Sun slowly opened his eyes. He looked towards the south, the scenes in Heavenly Court were reflected in his eyes. We have finally reached this moment. Immortal zombie Giant Sun smiled before sighing to himself lightly, Red Lotus, it was your scheme that worked after all. Certain memories in his life started to surface. On the Stone Lotus Island, Gu Immortal Giant Sun who had yet to become venerable received Red Lotus gift. At the same time, they also made a transaction. This is the incomplete Immortal Gu recipe of Destiny Gu. Giant Sun received this incomplete recipe and was immediately drawn to it. He was the creator of Luck Path, it had never failed him, but from this incomplete recipe, he saw a whole new world. Red Lotus, you are the one who damaged Fate Gu, giving me the chance to create Luck Path. Now, you are gifting this incomplete recipe of Destiny Gu to me, I owe you an immense favor. Gu Immortal Giant Sun said solemnly. I will make the arrangements according to our agreement. I will leave Wisdom Gu behind and create responsive Luck Immortal Gu to help that unparalleled genius who will create Destiny Song. Furthermore, I will retain my final attack. As long as the situation advances to reach that stage, I will take action and help your million-year plan succeed. Red Lotus will smiled, I will thank you in advance. If my plan fails, please follow our agreement and try your best to refine Destiny Gu yourself. Of course. Gu Immortal Giant Sun said resolutely. Boom! An enormous beam of light flew through the sky and shot towards Heavenly Court's direction at an extreme speed. This beam of light was so gigantic, like a large river that spanned across heaven and earth. Wherever it went, it pushed aside all the air. The beam's movement was accompanied by a deafening and majestic sound. Such a grand and powerful killer move shocked everyone and sent them into a daze. Even Duke Long, Feng Jiugu, and Fang Yuan felt incredibly small and insignificant upon seeing this move. The beam of light started from black heaven above northern plains, piercing through the regional wall and directly bombarding Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court shook intensely, the world seemed to tremble as countless immortal Gu houses cracked and broke. Within Imperfection Regret Pavilion, star constellation Immortal Venerable's silhouette gritted her teeth. She watched as Giant Sun's attack approached, but Limitless Silhouette was drawing her attention, forcing her to have no time to deal with it. Giant Sun's attack landed with unstoppable might, instilling itself into the sea of human wills and flames. The three sources gathered and instantly formed a golden ball of light that was the size of a mountain. Within the ball of light, flames flicked, human wills shined with rainbow light, incredibly dazzling. Fang Yuan remained unmoved at the center, he was controlling the situation. Traces of pale white light started to spread out from his tightly grasped hands. These traces of light were so familiar, Fang Yuan had a deep impression of them. He was internally shaken. Heaven Path Dao marks. Tens or hundreds of Heaven Path Dao marks slipped out from the cracks between his fingers. Fang Yuan opened his hands wide at this moment. With a loud sound, countless Heaven Path Dao marks flew into the sky, entangling with each other. Traces of Dao marks went towards Fang Yuan's body. Fang Yuan grunted, intense pain assaulted him, causing his body and mind to shake. These are newly added Heaven Path Dao marks on my body. Wait, no, not just me. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light, he acutely sensed that many of the Heaven Path Dao marks vanished all of a sudden, following the sources of the human wills. As expected. At this moment, Fang Yuan was finally certain about Red Lotus Demon Venerable's plan. He wanted to refine Destiny Gu, but he was not truly trying to refine a Gu. Fang Yuan grasped this chance, doing his best to collect these Heaven Path Dao marks. With every single Heaven Path Dao mark carved in his body, his sovereign immortal aperture's foundation would rise by a level. This was an unprecedented and huge fortuitous encounter. Each complete Heaven Path Dao mark would cause a small qualitative change in Fang Yuan's immortal aperture world. After his trip to Crazed Demon Cave, Fang Yuan became even clearer of the immense value of this opportunity. But the fusing of Heaven Path Dao marks was very painful, even someone with a firm mind like Fang Yuan started to feel dizzy after gaining 10 complete Heaven Path Dao marks. But he was the main person refining this Gu, he could not use other methods, otherwise, he would disrupt the Gu refinement and fail the process, that would be a huge problem. Fang Yuan relied on his determination as he gritted his teeth and held on. He was not the only Gu immortal enduring pain, he was just one of countless people. At the same time, in the vast 5 regions, countless mortals screamed in pain. The Heaven Path Dao marks found their way to the sources of the human wills and carved themselves into these people's bodies. Each of these mortals could not endure even 1/10,000th of a complete Heaven Path Dao mark, many of them fainted at the first moment. Those who could remain awake were fortunate, they were able to absorb more Heaven Path Dao marks. Pain. Intense pain, pain that went beyond words. Fang Yuan soon tore the skin of his lips as his eyes opened wide, even the corners of his eyes were torn, blood flowed out. His entire body was shaking and covered in sweat. He still tried his best to continue fusing with each additional Heaven Path Dao mark. Soon, the Gu immortals scattered across the 5 regions also started to endure this process. Heavenly Court's fighting came to a stop. All of the Gu immortals' expressions changed, they gritted their teeth as their faces turned red. With the addition of Heaven Path Dao marks that automatically went to them, they were caught off guard and could barely endure this. No! Duke Long screamed in agony. At this moment, he finally realized what Red Lotus' plan was. Duke Long was unable to take down Feng Jiugu after so long. He could only turn around and hope for the best as he tried to attack Fang Yuan, but the intense pain also assaulted him. Feng Jiugu persisted in using Destiny Song. Seeing that Duke Long was leaving, he quickly attacked more intensely to stall for time instead. With a loud sound, like splattering water, the mountain-like human wills vanished on the spot. Success. People of this world, I have entrusted fate to you. All of you hold a portion of fate. From today onwards, there will no longer be fate in this world. Red Lotus will spoke through the human wills. His voice was transmitted into the minds of everyone in the 5 regions. The 5 regions' humans were still in agony and indescribable pain. Because of the intense and unbearable pain, there were many cases of suicide on the spot. Red Lotus. Duke Long shouted in anger. He finally got away from Feng Jiugu as he arrived in front of Fang Yuan. But it was too late. The last bit of Red Lotus will manage to gather into human form as it blocked the ferocious Duke Long for Fang Yuan. Master. The young-looking Red Lotus smiled. I succeeded at long last. Fate Gu has been split into countless portions by me and distributed to everyone in this world. It still exists, it has not been destroyed, but because fate has been fused with luck, it can no longer be used by heaven's will. Duke Long was furious, his eyes were red, his hair standing on end. Traitorous disciple. He screamed, he charged even quicker now. At the next moment, he completely destroyed Red Lotus will as he arrived in front of Fang Yuan. Duke Long's aura broke through its limit again, reaching an unprecedented level. His strength was so overwhelming that even Di Zongsheng and Feng Jiugu felt a threat to their lives. Fang Yuan did not move, he did not even put up a defense. Duke Long charged with unparalleled might, but when he was still a step away from Fang Yuan, his expression changed. His aura froze at once, his advancement stopped. His lifespan was exhausted. It was slightly earlier than in the previous life. Fang Yuan was not surprised, he had found the truth when he saw a bit of the scattered light earlier. The truth was, back then in Eastern Sea, when his Qi Si ancestor identity used steal life on Duke Long, it was effective. But the effect was low and not easily observable. Duke Long also had incredible concealment abilities. Afterwards, in order to avoid fighting Qi Si ancestor, Duke Long even took out Primordial Origin's true inheritance to successfully deceive everyone. This was because Duke Long did not know that Fang Yuan's steal life killer move had a limited number of usages. This also caused Duke Long to become even stronger than in the previous life at the same time period. The hero of a generation, the pillar of Heavenly Court, the master of Red Lotus, and the creator of the Dragonman race, Duke Long. Finally, his life was over. Before dying, he still charged at the forefront. For Heavenly Court, for the sake of humanity, he had truly done everything that he could until his death. During the intense war, he forgot the limit of his own lifespan. Thus, at the moment of his death, other than rage and killing intent, there was also confusion on his face. Lord Duke Long. Damn it, you must be feeling very unwilling to die like this. Senior Duke Long. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals cried out loud, their morale rose sharply. This was the will of the mourning troops. Intense battle occurred again. The Gu immortals of the 3 regions were actually suppressed by Heavenly Court, which had fewer numbers. Fang Yuan no longer participated in the fight. He still endured intense pain as his gaze pierced past heavenly court, overlooking the entire 5 regions. Earth shook as it produced waves of deep, rumbling noises. At this moment, the regional walls that separated the 5 regions had completely disappeared. The earth veins were connected as the 5 separate regions merged into one. Without the obstruction of the regional walls, people could freely move through the 5 regions with no obstructions. At the same time, the differences in heaven and earth chi also disappeared gradually. The bloody cape on Fang Yuan's back slowly disintegrated. He raised his head slightly and took in a deep breath. Ah, the air was filled with freedom. From now on, there was finally a possibility of pursuing eternal life. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan's lips curled up as he revealed a faint smile. The great era has finally arrived. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1967, New Otherworldly Demon. 1967 New Otherworldly Demon. Volume 6, Demon Venerable's Eternal Life. Wake up. Hey, wake up kid. Peng De opened his eyes with difficulty. In his blurred vision, he saw a human face. It belonged to a middle-aged man. He had a beard and a pair of crystal-clear triangular eyes. There was a white headscarf covering his head. Peng De was shocked. He remembered sleeping in his room earlier. Why did a stranger barge into his room suddenly? He exerted force to sit up, but at the next moment, he was stunned. Where am I? He was shocked to find himself in the middle of a desert. There were no clouds in the sky, the sun was blazing and it was extremely hot. Haha, this kid is dazed. He is really lucky. He was attacked by the desert wolves but managed to survive. There was not only the bearded middle-aged man, there were several others surrounding him. Not far away, there was a group of camels resting on the ground. Kid, this place is called Wolf Desert. When we found you, your companions were already dead. The desert wolves ate their corpses. After we chased them away, we found that you were still alive. My name is Emoli, I am the leader of this caravan. I saved you and healed your wounds. You are quite lucky to have met us. Do you remember anything now? The bearded middle-aged man spoke and explained. Peng De was dazed in the desert. The heated sand and glaring sunlight made him gradually accept this. It was not a dream. I transmigrated. Damn it, something like transmigration really exists, and it happened to me of all people. But how did I get here? Yesterday, I was still doing some programming and coding, but today, I ended up here. Looking at their attire and speech mannerisms, this is obviously another world. Also, why do I know this world's language? It seems like speaking this foreign language is part of my innate ability. Peng De could not help but feel nervous. His heart was pounding rapidly. This situation was really out of his expectations. He started to panic as he felt troubled internally. But around him, there were several strong men staring at him. Peng De had to force himself to stay calm as he held his head, shaking it. I only remember my name is Peng De. As for the rest, damn it, why don't I remember a thing? No way, you lost your memories. This is so disappointing. Everyone discussed. The bearded middle-aged man looked at Peng De deeply. Bright light flashed in his eyes. Since you do not remember, forget it. I hope you can regain your memories one day. Now, what plans do you have? Do you want to travel with my merchant caravan? Peng De quickly nodded his head. He did not dare to travel alone in the desert. Uncle Emoli, I will definitely repay this debt of saving my life. No matter where you are going, please bring me along. I do not know where to go now. He had a lost expression, but he spoke truthfully. He had just arrived in this world. He did not know what to do. Then follow us. Emoli nodded, instructing a person beside him, provide a camel for this kid Peng De. Yes. Someone responded immediately, kid, follow me. Peng De was brought away to the camel. He stared with wide eyes, feeling shocked. This is a camel. The Gu master who brought him here felt strange. Kid, are you really from Western Desert? You don't even know about the fire pit camel. The fire pit camel did not have a hump, instead its back was concave, forming an oval pit. The person riding the camel would lie in the round pit, with soft fur and warm body temperature. It was very comfortable. The Gu master started nimbly packing away the goods in the round pit and building a tent on top of it. A portion of the cargo was tied to the camel's sides and the bottom of the tent. Pengda continued to pretend that he was in pain as he said, "I don't remember, damn it, I don't remember anything." That Gu master gave him a glance. "I don't care what you forgot, but remember this, our leader saved your life. Since you are joining our caravan, you are eating our food, drinking our water, and living in our quarters, you need to work. Understood?" Pengda quickly nodded, "Of course, please give me the instructions. I will do my best." The Gu master nodded lightly, showing slight satisfaction. But at this time, the bearded man's voice could be heard, "Don't make life difficult for him, let this young man rest for now and recover from his mental fatigue. It was fate that we met in this huge desert, it is not easy to live here, no matter who you are." The Gu master sighed as he quipped, "Leader, you are still so kind-hearted." Pengda heard this, he felt a sense of deeper gratitude towards Emoli. He shouted loudly, "Uncle, thank you so much, I will definitely repay you." Emoli laughed loudly, "Good, kid, go and recover on your camel for now." Next, he shouted at everyone, "We've had enough rest, let's continue on our way." Thus, the camel bells rang as the merchant caravan moved forward again, traveling over this vast desert. Pengda lay on the fire pit camel's back, he felt very comfortable. After being alone, he was shocked to find that his body was not his original body, it was a body that belonged to this world. His skin was brown from tanning, his arms and legs were thick, his joints were bulging. So only my soul came over, I went into the body of an inhabitant of this world. No wonder I can speak their language. It is a pity that I did not gain this inhabitant's memories. But this is not bad either. My original body was weak as I did not train it, but this body is very strong and young too. Pengda could not sleep. After inspecting his body, he started to look around and observe this world. There was nothing in the desert, but the travelers were quite an eye-opener to him. The food of the fire pit camel was actually some bright red charcoal. The people in the merchant caravan could create water from nothing, they did not need to find oases or water sources. Moving in this desert was very secure because of them. By night time, they started to prepare dinner. A Gu master planted some seeds in the desert as trees grew out after a few breaths of time, bearing fruits. Pengda did not know what fruit this was, but the flesh was tender and sweet, it was fragrant and filled his stomach with satisfaction. Pengda was amazed at every small detail of this world. When he ate dinner, he could not help but ask the leader Emoli. "Kid, it seems you really have amnesia. We are Gu masters. These are Gu master methods." Emoli looked at Pengda with a strange gaze. Gu master. This was the first time Pengda heard this phrase. Emoli's expression was even stranger now as he pointed at Pengda, "Kid, you are also a Gu master, in fact, you are a rank 2 Gu master." What? Pengda was shocked. After some explanation, Pengda realized what that meant, he became more excited. So a certain group of people of this world are called Gu masters. They are able to cultivate using Gu worms. Gu masters rank from 1 to 9, most of the caravan members are rank 2, Uncle Emoli is the highest at rank 3. Meanwhile, I am a rank 2 Gu master, or rather, this body's original owner was a rank 2 Gu master. When Gu masters cultivate to rank 6, they will be known as Gu immortals, they will be able to overturn mountains and seas, they can collect the stars and moon. By rank 9, they will be invincible in this world, unparalleled and unmatched. Oh heavens, this is such a wonderful world. Since heaven transmigrated me here, there must be a reason for my arrival. I must be unique, I will definitely rise above all others. Right. Once I get rank 9 cultivation, I will be invincible in this world, that feeling must be very amazing. In Pengda's original world, he was a very ordinary person. He was an orphan with no parents, lovers, or any other attachments. He was extremely excited, by night time, he could not resist the fatigue, he fell deeply asleep. What he did not know was, the Gu masters in the merchant caravan were talking about him. This kid actually lost his memories. What should I say? Is he really lucky or unlucky? Is he really amnesiac or pretending to be so? There is no need to do that. From what I saw, he was very shocked by the fire pit camels and our Gu master methods. It is unlikely to be an act. Whether he lost his memories or not, he is still a rank 2 Gu master, he will be useful to us, there was no loss in saving him. Mo said. Nobody could refute this. Gu masters were far more valuable than mortals. If Pengda was a mortal, these Gu masters would not have bothered to save him after realizing he was still alive back then. But since he was a Gu master, he had value to them, thus he was able to travel on the camel and also got food and water from them. While they were talking, Mo suddenly frowned, his expression turned grim. Listen, do you all hear something? Everyone's expressions changed. At the next moment, this sound became louder. It was such a huge commotion that heaven and earth shook. Damn it! It seems like a hurricane, a supersized hurricane. This is a desert, why are there hurricanes? Quickly move, protect the caravan and move out. The Gu masters left the tent hurriedly, but once they got out, they were stunned. There was a boundless chi tide approaching from all directions. It was like a grand tsunami that overwhelmed heaven and earth. The chi tide was everywhere, it carried sand along with it and had an unstoppable might. Extremely shocked expressions were shown all over the Gu masters' faces. This was a calamity far worse than any hurricane. At once, the Gu masters felt an intense threat of death. The merchant caravan was doomed, they only wanted to save their own lives now. Escape. Mo gritted his teeth. Before he finished his words, he quickly retreated with all his strength. The other Gu masters quickly reacted as they mimicked him and escaped. In the abandoned merchant caravan, the mortals screeched, the camels were stirred too. They were helpless now, only death awaited them. But within this chaos, Pengda was still deeply asleep, he had no idea that this fatal danger was upon him. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1968, Spectral Soul Hunts. 1968 Spectral Soul Hunts. The sky was dark, there was only 2 to 3 faint starlight specks. This was black heaven. The surroundings were quiet, 3 Gu immortals were moving stealthily in black heaven. At the left was an elderly hunchbacked Gu immortal, he had many wrinkles on his face, he was thin and dry like a stick, he was truly resembling a man about to step into his grave. At the right was a female immortal, she had a graceful figure with hair that extended to her waist, and was adorned in a beautiful purple robe. Her eyes were like deep pools, with a sense of sorrow shrouding her face. And at the center was a black-robed Gu immortal, he looked like a middle-aged man with a pale face, his black hair was chest-length, he had a deep and cold killing intent that surrounded his entire body. They were Old Man Zheng Yuan, Fairy Zi Wei, and Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. The 3 were moving quietly in black heaven. At this time, Spectral Soul paused and said plainly, "It's here again." Fairy Zi Wei's and Old Man Zheng Yuan's expressions did not change, they guarded Spectral Soul as they started to put up their defensive methods. Soon, the 3 immortals heard a loud sound. Next, a huge and wild chi tide came from all directions. Wherever the chi tide went, lifeforms perished, it was a terrible sight. The chi tide crashed towards the 3 immortals, after several minutes, it went past them. The 3 including Spectral Soul finally let out a sigh of relief, they cancelled their defensive methods as they came out again. Old Man Zheng Yuan looked towards the chi tide with an expression of sadness towards the people, he sighed deeply. After the 5 regions fused into one, such a change actually happened. Once in a while, chi tides will surge, rampaging wildly all over the world. Not just the 5 regions, even the 2 heavens are not spared, they cause destruction everywhere they go. I wonder how many people will suffer from this. Even though Old Man Zheng Yuan was subdued by Spectral Soul, he was only absolutely loyal to Spectral Soul, his original personality did not change. Fairy Zi Wei's eyes flickered with uncertainty, she seemed to be deducing something but she soon gave up in dejectedness. Fairy Zi Wei analyzed, the heaven and earth chi of the 5 regions vary. Thus, when Gu immortals go to different regions, absorbing the heaven and earth chi there would cause problems in their immortal aperture. This is also why Gu immortals often have to return to their region to undergo tribulations. The difference in heaven and earth chi also caused the regional walls to form. Now that the 5 regional walls are gone, the heaven and earth chi of the 5 regions are converging into one. This is the reason for the birth of these chi tides. But it is impossible to calculate how long this chi tide phenomenon will last, or whether it will get stronger or weaker. We can't even predict a trend. To deduce the result of this question, it was likely that primordial origin Immortal Venerable was needed. He had the deepest understanding of chi path after all. Other than that, star constellation Immortal Venerable could also make such a large-scale deduction. Spectral Soul snorted coldly, his voice was hoarse and icy. This chi tide is a hindrance to us. Wherever it goes, soul beasts are unable to resist it. Even if they survive, their soul cores will be damaged. Spectral Soul wanted to recover his strength now. Devouring souls was the fastest method. Originally, he wanted to retrieve the door of life and death, but it was actually moved away in secret. The fight in Heavenly Court was over now. In Spectral Soul's current state, he could not take action rashly. Thus, he brought his 2 subordinates to leave Heavenly Court and come to Black Heaven. They prepared to hunt soul beasts instead. Within Black Heaven, there were countless soul beasts that formed into hordes. They often rampaged in Black Heaven with nether ants paving the way. They often had hundreds of thousands or even millions of soul beasts in an horde. Master, the chi tide is a calamity, please let us stay to help you. Old man Zheng Yuan advised as a loyal servant. Spectral Soul snorted coldly, what use is there in staying by my side? I alone am sufficient, furthermore, I have tasks for you too. Old man Zheng Yuan and Fairy Ziwei looked at each other as they said, please give us your instructions, master. Spectral Soul squinted as he said eerily, back then, I expended my assets to refine sovereign immortal Favourite Gu, leaving it for Fang Yuan to create a complete otherworldly demon. Now that Fate Gu is destroyed, the plan succeeded. It is time to retrieve sovereign immortal Favourite Gu now. I want you two to find and capture Fang Yuan alive. I will refine him back into sovereign immortal Favourite Gu. Spectral Soul's strength was at its lowest now, otherwise, he would have taken action during the battle in Heavenly Court. If he wanted to grow stronger now, there were 3 crucial things: Door of Life and Death, Dream Realms, and Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Now that the Door of Life and Death was gone, Spectral Soul felt slightly disappointed. But he could use soul beasts instead. Most of his dream realms were taken by Fang Yuan. Even though Fang Yuan used a portion of them in Heavenly Court's battle, the rest were still stored in Fang Yuan's possession. Spectral Soul needed to take back his dream realms. Only with his dream realms could he regain his attainment level of Great Grandmaster in all paths. Other than that, the Sovereign Immortal Aperture was necessary too. It could ensure that Spectral Soul would quickly reach the apex of his strength. Spectral Soul had reason to believe that the Sovereign Immortal Aperture was well developed by Fang Yuan. If he could take it back, it would be the same as gaining Fang Yuan's hard work. If he could retrieve all 3 crucial keys, Spectral Soul would rise to the top. He would be unstoppable in this world. He could not find the Door of Life and Death, but both the Dream Realms and Sovereign Immortal Aperture were in Fang Yuan's hands. It was understandable that Spectral Soul targeted Fang Yuan first. Old man Zheng Yuan frowned as he recalled, Master wants to deal with Fang Yuan. After this demon destroyed Fate Gu, he left Heavenly Court immediately and did not participate in the battle afterwards. He acted very strangely then. Nobody knows where he went after that. Spectral Soul smiled coldly, that is because of the Heaven Path Dao marks. Fang Yuan could barely save himself, he had to make that choice. Since he could discern the arrangement that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable placed on Wisdom Gu and thus used it in the refinement unhesitantly, he naturally can infer the arrangements I placed in Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu as well. Thus, when refining the Gu, he used Red Lotus method to restrict me. Fang Yuan is very crafty, he managed to thwart my plan by borrowing others' strength. Red Lotus wanted to see that happen as well. After I get rid of Fang Yuan, I will deal with this old scoundrel Red Lotus. Spectral Soul and Red Lotus worked together to destroy Fate Gu for good. Now that the plan succeeded, Spectral Soul and Red Lotus returned to being enemies. 2 tigers cannot share one mountain, not to mention 2 venerables. But how do we locate Fang Yuan now? Fairy Ziwei felt a headache. Why was it that after changing sides and betraying Heavenly Court, she still had to face this troublesome problem? When she was in Heavenly Court, she tried all ways possible to deal with Fang Yuan. As a Wisdom Path great expert, she had noticed Fang Yuan's threat long ago. But so what? Fang Yuan was too good at hiding and concealing himself, his most skilled wisdom path aspect was in blocking deductions. And he was too vigilant, he never left any traces behind. Even if Heavenly Court wanted to find him, they were helpless and clueless. Like how humanity had immortal venerables and demon venerables that the variant humans could not resist, they went into hiding and left even primordial origin immortal venerable without options against them. Fairy Ziwei lacked crucial clues, she could not deduce Fang Yuan's location. That was the case when she was in Heavenly Court, until now, it was still true. Thus, she had to get help from Spectral Soul, hoping that this demon venerable's soul had some way to deal with him. But against this question, even Spectral Soul was silent for a while. Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu was refined by him personally, he had made an arrangement to sense the sovereign immortal body. But after the Heaven Path Dao marks were absorbed by Fang Yuan, he lost his method. The connection was completely cut. Eventually, Spectral Soul ordered, "We temporarily can't find Fang Yuan, we have to force him to show up." How? Fang Yuan is a solitary demon, he has no attachments at all. Even if he did have friends or family, with his cruel nature, if we threaten him, he will not appear. Old man Zheng Yuan felt very troubled. Spectral Soul snorted coldly. During Heavenly Court's battle, everyone saw the scene of Fang Yuan destroying Fate Gu through the killer move everybody's vision. You will go spread the secret of the sovereign immortal aperture, tell everyone in the world that Fang Yuan was able to reach rank 8 and destroy Fate because the sovereign immortal aperture can annex immortal apertures to avoid tribulations and raise his cultivation level rapidly. Once in a while, Fang Yuan will have to annex immortal apertures to sustain his life. Whoever kills Fang Yuan will gain countless venerable inheritances, they will even possess the sovereign immortal aperture, they will be qualified to become a venerable and become invincible in the world. After pausing, Spectral Soul continued, in that case, Fang Yuan will be an enemy of everyone. We also have to tell everyone about his current weakness, that he has no battle strength due to the Heaven Path Dao marks troubling him. If not, he would not have escaped immediately after refining the Gu. With everyone in the world helping us find him, where can Fang Yuan hide? Even if he can hide for a while, he cannot hide forever. Both of you will go and find the secret treasuries that I left behind afterwards, the cultivation resources that I did not need when refining sovereign immortal fetus Gu are kept there, they are not of low value. Using these resources, you can rebuild Shadow Sect and help me recruit more members. Fang Yuan's subordinates like Bai Ningbing and He Lu Lan are all outside now. If we find them, we might find clues to Fang Yuan. Old man Zheng Yuan and Fairy Ziwei quickly responded. Spectral Soul looked down at his feet, his gaze seemed to be piercing through the darkness and looking at the 5 regions. The 5 regions fused into one, heaven and earth chi is converging as chi tides form and spread around the world. If the heaven and earth chi does not fuse completely, there will not be peace, it will be as if the 5 regional walls are thinned and spread all over the 5 regions. Thus, the Gu immortals of the 5 regions will feel tremors in their immortal apertures as the 2 chi collide, they are forced to recuperate now. The stronger the immortal aperture foundation, the longer they need to recuperate. Fang Yuan will be forced to lay low for a very long time. But you two are ex-Heavenly Court members, you had phantom apertures so you are unaffected by this. We need to make use of this time, work hard. As Master decrees. Fairy Ziwei and Old Man Zheng Yuan replied respectfully. Spectral Soul waved his sleeves, then why are you still here? Master, please take care. We will take our leave. Fairy Ziwei and Old Man Zheng Yuan left quickly. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1969, Black Heaven, Gu Immortals. 1969 Black Heaven, Gu Immortals. Roar. Within Black Heaven, an ancient soul beast was escaping in a hurry. This soul beast resembled a horse but had a human face. On its face now was terror and fear. The ancient soul beast was panicking and escaping in a random direction. Soon, its movement slowed down as its anguished cries became softer and weaker. After several breaths of time, it completely stopped in the sky, floating silently in the night sky. Soundlessly, its colossal body disintegrated as a Gu immortal appeared. This Gu immortal had a pale face and chest-length hair. He was Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul grabbed the soul core, which was the soul path essence of the ancient soul beast. But Spectral Soul was not satisfied. He placed this soul core into his mouth and ate it like a candy, swallowing it after a few seconds. Without using a soul path killer move, I need to wait a while to digest it completely. Spectral Soul said unhappily as he snorted. After splitting up with old man Jing Yuan and fairy Zi Wei, he had been hunting soul beasts in Black Heaven. But for some reason, maybe due to bad luck or the extermination of lifeforms due to the Qi tides, he met very few soul beasts. Until now, he had only met lone soul beasts or those that formed into groups of 5 or fewer. The quantity was so small that he even felt like he was not in Black Heaven. This efficiency is just too low. Spectral Soul continued his journey. If my attainment level was still around, I can find the soul beast armies with just my instinct. Even Fong Yuan would not be able to escape my detection. It is a pity I need to start over. However, Fate Gu is finally destroyed. Heavens will cannot obstruct my path to becoming venerable again. After I succeed, I want to see who dares to obstruct me. Even if it is a venerable, I will kill them. Oh. While Spectral Soul moved stealthily, a flash of joy suddenly appeared on his face. He finally found an army of soul beasts. He got closer and saw that this soul beast army had over 3 million members. The quantity was not small, and what made Spectral Soul happy was that they had high quality. He had only taken a quick glance, but he already saw 6 immemorial soul beasts and over 30 ancient soul beasts. Kill. The desire to kill emerged in Spectral Soul's heart as he was about to charge over, but he noticed something. This discovery was quite surprising. Why are there soul path Gu immortals? There were 3 Gu immortals controlling the soul beast army. 2 males and 1 female immortal. The female was at the center as the leader. She had a plain appearance and gray eyes. Her rank 8 aura was naturally emitted. Of the 2 male immortals, one was tall and armored, with strong arms exposed and soul beast markings on his arms. The other was tall and thin, holding a bamboo staff. The 3 immortals wore black robes of similar design. They were obviously from the same force. They are Black Heaven Gu immortals. Spectral Soul soon discerned their aura. He snickered as he changed his earlier idea of charging in. He stealthily mixed in with the soul beast army. The 3 immortals controlled the soul beast army with much difficulty. The 2 males were showing signs of tiredness. Sweat gathered on their foreheads. The rank 8 female immortal seemed to have rested earlier. She spoke at this moment. You 2 can stop. I will control the army now. Hearing this, the 2 male immortals let out sighs of relief. The thin one started to bootlick her. And, only you can control a soul beast army of such a size. Even if the 2 of us cultivate for 8 lifetimes, we would not even reach half of your strength. The rank 8 female immortal looked at the male immortal with displeasure. If 8 lifetimes are not enough to reach my level, you should just end your own life. Ugh. The thin man knew that his bootlicking had backfired. He showed some awkwardness on his face. The female immortal sighed. You 2 are the most likely Gu immortals in the clan to advance further besides me. Now that Fate Gu has been destroyed, we are taking control of our own fate. The great era has arrived. The peaceful and quiet life of the past is long gone. You must have the spirit to work hard. If you do not have such an awareness, sooner or later our soul-pacifying grotto heaven will be drowned by the tides of the era. Aunt, you have taught me a lesson. The tall and thin man nodded his head in succession. As for the male immortal at the side, he remained silent. The female immortal sighed again and continued. The 5 regions were fused. The heaven and earth Qi are merging, to the extent that Qi tides swept across the whole world. Even Black Heaven and White Heaven are not exempted. Wherever the Qi tide reaches, heaven and earth will shake. Grotto heavens can no longer be concealed. Their positions will be exposed. This time, we as Gu immortals of Black Heaven's Grotto Heavens are meeting to discuss how to face this situation. At that time, the 2 of you will be representing yourselves as well as our soul-pacifying Grotto Heaven. Don't forget this. Yes, Aunt, Madam, don't worry, we will remember this. The 2 immortals responded respectfully. The three immortals did not know that Spectral Soul had already gotten near them. He heard their entire conversation without missing anything. So that's it. Spectral Soul realized, with the convergence of the heaven and earth chi, the grotto heavens concealed in black heaven and white heaven are affected too. The reason is the same as why the 5 regions Gu immortals are forced to recuperate. But the 5 regions Gu immortals are more affected while the 2 heavens are not as troubled. The Gu immortals are still able to move around with difficulty. Within black and white heaven, many grotto heavens were hidden. Even Spectral Soul could not precisely count the number of grotto heavens here. This current change in the world was unprecedented. All of the grotto heavens were unable to hide anymore. They were like fish forced out of the water. Spectral Soul felt that this was a perfect opportunity. He immediately continued to hide, following the 3 immortals. After spending half a day, the 3 immortals controlled the army of soul beasts and finally arrived at their destination. This was also a grotto heaven. The grotto heaven's entrance was open. Many people were already waiting outside. The commotion was not small. The soul beast army of millions that the 3 soul pacifying immortals brought here was not exceptional at all. They were only superior to the norm. So our friends from soul pacifying grotto heaven have arrived. Seeing the 3 immortals, a Gu immortal flew out from a pack of night heavenly wolves. This Gu immortal had rank 8 cultivation level. He had a pair of sharp eagle eyes and had an appearance of a resolute character. Night heavenly wolf lord, you arrived early. The rank 8 female immortal from soul pacifying grotto heaven replied while smiling. Actually, we were late, Lady Cold Ash. Night heavenly wolf lord smiled bitterly, pointing at the grotto heaven entrance. Those variant human Gu immortals have entered already. I waited for you to enter together, otherwise, as lone rank 8 Gu immortals, we will be pushed aside. Lady Cold Ash nodded with a grim expression. We have gathered here today because of Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch's request. He is a snowman Gu immortal to begin with. He opened up his Ice Crystal Grotto Heaven as well. This will definitely be dominated by variant human Gu immortals. Let's go in and see first. Lady Cold Ash quickly arranged for the 2 rank 7s to stay behind and look after the soul beast army. She only brought some immemorial soul beasts with her into the grotto heaven. Unknown to her, Spectral Soul had already possessed one of her immemorial soul beasts. He followed after them. Once they entered the grotto heaven, the temperature fell drastically. It was an icy world. Looking at the ground, it was all white. The mountain stood tall, made entirely of frost crystals. This was very rare. At the peak of the frost crystal mountain, there was a palace made of ice and snow. Lady Cold Ash and Night Heavenly Wolf Lord arrived in front of the palace hall. They left their accompanying immemorial soul beasts and immemorial Night Heavenly Wolves outside, entering themselves. After Spectral Soul looked for a while, he successfully saw through the foundation of this icy palace. He immediately found a loophole and entered the hall. There was a snowman Gu immortal sitting at the main seat. He had a squarish face and dignified demeanor. He was Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch. Other than that, there were 3 rank 8 variant humans. They were Rockman, Hairy Man, and Eggman respectively. To think that in Black Heaven, variant humans are the superior force. They actually have 4 rank 8s while the humans only have 2. Spectral Soul thought about it for a moment before understanding why. After humans dominated the world, variant humans could not live in the 5 regions anymore. They were chased into the peripheries of the world to live pitiful lives. Black and White Heaven became their top choices to relocate and live. This place was extremely huge. Once their grotto heavens were concealed, even venerables would not be able to find them without sufficient clues. Thus, Black and White Heaven became the foundation of the variant humans. They developed here. Even though human Gu immortals also explored both heavens, they only explored them to seek resources. Few rank 8 Gu immortals would place their grotto heavens within the Black and White Heavens. Human grotto heavens were different from variant human grotto heavens. The latter were taken care of by heaven's will. Their tribulations were weaker, but the former were different. As time passed, more and more human grotto heavens that were placed were destroyed. Few could develop successfully. Meanwhile, the variant human grotto heavens were able to last a long time. Their forces grew stealthily. The 6 rank 8 Gu immortals discussed for a long time. The 5 regions have become one, chi tides rampage the heavens. Our grotto heavens will be exposed. I propose that we unite ourselves and resist the enemies of the 5 regions together. How will we resist them? Even though our grotto heavens are doing well, how can our resources compare to the 5 regions? Even if we all work together, we are not the match of the 5 regions' humans. Moreover, we cannot cooperate sincerely with each other. We are of different identities after all. Everyone, don't worry, even though we are humans, our soul-pacifying ancestor was forced to live in Black Heaven. We have already broken all ties with the 5 regions. I'll be more straightforward. My Night Wolf Grotto Heaven does not want to expose ourselves. After all, we have an immense enmity with Northern Plains Longevity Heaven. Friends. Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch spoke. Do you all only want to go on the defensive? Do you not want to progress further? Now that Fate Gu has been destroyed, the reign of humanity has been disrupted. The 5 regions Gu Immortals need to recuperate now. This is the best chance for us to take action. Because we were in Black Heaven, we became the least affected ones. We can move around with difficulty. If we don't make use of this chance, we will regret it in the future. Immortal Monarch, what plan do you have? Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch sighed as he said with a grim expression, the 5 regions are huge, they have abundant resources. Even if our grotto heavens are added together, we cannot compare to them. The world will definitely go into chaos, if we do not try to improve ourselves. When the 5 regions settle down, they will find a chance to eliminate us all. Only by taking this lead can we have a hope of survival. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1970, Heavenly Court Des Dilemma. 1970 Heavenly Court Des Dilemma. Lady Cold Ash flew first towards the entrance of Ice Crystal Grotto Heaven. The 2 rank 7s from Soul Pacifying Grotto Heaven quickly went to receive her. Aunt. The tall and thin Gu Immortal asked in concern, how was the discussion? Lady Cold Ash shook her head lightly. At this time, Night Heavenly Wolf Lord also flew out of Ice Crystal Grotto Heaven. The 2 conversed for some time before parting ways. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord brought his wolf group along while Lady Cold Ash led her soul beast army, going back to their respective grotto heavens. Along the way, the 3 immortals conversed, not knowing that Spectral Soul was lurking around them. Spectral Soul had originally wanted to hunt the soul beasts, but after seeing this, he changed his mind. Just by the name of Soul Pacifying Grotto Heaven, he could tell its foundation was Soul Path. Seeing that Lady Cold Ash and the 2 rank 7s were Soul Path Gu Immortals, Soul Pacifying Grotto Heaven must be a place filled with abundant Soul Path cultivation resources. Let alone anything else, just the soul beast army that they controlled was a scrumptious meal to Spectral Soul. Chi tides rampage in the 5 regions and 2 heavens. The grotto heaven forces in Black and White Heaven will not lay low. I can use this to my advantage and assault the other venerable forces and speed up my growth. Spectral Soul not only had to deal with Fong Yuan, there were also venerable forces like Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven. Now that Fate Gu was destroyed, Spectral Soul was able to revive. The other venerables were also able to revive themselves. With Fong Yuan missing at the moment, Spectral Soul had to consider the whole situation. Even though his true nature was killing, there were many ways to kill. Using others as one's lethal weapon was also a high-level killing method. He was going to use it now. Lady Cold Ash and the rest did not know that their soul-pacifying grotto heaven was currently targeted by a huge monster, Spectral Soul. Meanwhile, Night Heavenly Wolf Lord returned to his Night Wolf Grotto Heaven. Many Gu Immortals in Night Wolf Grotto Heaven quickly greeted him. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord said, Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch wants us to form an alliance to resist the 5 regions. This is quite a difficult situation. Gu Immortal Yiji nodded, it is quite difficult. In the current situation, Fate Gu is destroyed, the 5 regions merged, as the heaven and earth chi fuse together, chi tides rampage in the world, no grotto heaven can conceal itself. We are small and lone forces. When the 5 regions attack us, we will not be able to resist them. However, we do not need to fight the 5 regions. We are humans, but Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and the rest are variant humans after all. The 5 regions are stronger than the 2 heavens. This is an obvious fact. why can't we join the 5 regions instead? Night Heavenly Wolf Lord laughed, Yi Ji, you know me best, that is how I feel too. If we work with the variant humans, we will be considered spies of humanity. Even if the 5 regions do not want to attack us, if we ally with the variant humans, they will want to. Yi Ji frowned, but we cannot join the 5 regions. Firstly, northern plains of the 5 regions is impossible. Secondly, the other 4 regions might not welcome us. And finally, if we join them, we will be attacked by Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and the rest. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord sighed, indeed, that is why I made an agreement with Soul Pacifying Grotto Heaven's Lady Cold Ash, we will advance and retreat together, we will combine the forces of the human Grotto Heavens here. As for which region to join, in my opinion, Central Continent's Heavenly Court is the most appropriate. We can secretly contact them first. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord was an experienced leader, not only did he have rank 8 cultivation level, he was shrewd in politics, nobody in Night Wolf Grotto Heaven defied his rule. Since he made a decision, the Gu immortals in Night Wolf Grotto Heaven did not dare to raise objections. Heavenly Court. Central Great Hall was finally repaired, Qin Ding Ling was currently the person taking charge. They failed to repair Fate Gu, Heavenly Court had undergone an intense battle, the damage was huge, even now, many areas were still in ruins. This is a humiliation. Qin Ding Ling put aside the letter Gu as she rested temporarily. Her expression was calm but her eyes flickered with light, as memories surfaced in her mind, rage built up within her. After Red Lotus goal was achieved, Duke Long died while fighting and Fong Yuan retreated rapidly. But the 3 regions Gu immortals wanted to destroy Heavenly Court, nobody backed off. At the moment of life and death, Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable's methods started to activate. All sorts of rage chi, unlucky chi, grief chi, and others plagued the 3 regions Gu immortals, their physical conditions weakened. This move was originally meant to deal with Fong Yuan, but Limitless Demon Venerable blocked it for him. After Red Lotus plan succeeded, the battle between 2 Venerables in Imperfection Regret Pavilion also concluded, with Limitless laughing as the 2 Venerable silhouettes faded away. Without limitless power to restrict it, Primordial Origin's methods started to work again. And the other good news was that even though Feng Jiugu turned on them, he only helped Fong Yuan to refine the Gu, he did not do anything against Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court was able to recover because of this and retaliate, maintaining their position in this difficult battle. The 3 regions Gu immortals had no choice, with Dragon Palace, Calamity Luck Altar, and Clear Jade Dripping Wind Tiny Bamboo Building as their foundation, they retreated gradually. After leaving Heavenly Court, some people wanted to loot Central Continent but the first Chi Tide happened at this moment. The immortal apertures of the 3 regions Gu immortals became unstable, they had to leave. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals stopped chasing them, after witnessing Fong Yuan refine Destiny Gu in front of them, their morale and fighting spirit had fallen. After the battle ended, Heavenly Court, which was greatly damaged, tried to reduce its losses and take care of the aftermath. Duke Long died while Fairy Ziwei betrayed them for Spectral Soul. After Heavenly Court's Gu immortals talked over it, they decided that Qin Ding Ling would be the new leader. During this period of time, Qin Ding Ling had been the one in charge, taking care of all the matters, big or small. Qin Ding Ling had a plain expression but a fire was burning in her heart. The great Heavenly Court had actually lost, it was a complete loss. She was eager to make up for this humiliation, but logic told her to not act rashly. Because everything had changed, Heavenly Court was no longer the old Heavenly Court, the enemies were no longer the same, even the world had changed. After resting for a while, Qin Ding Ling continued to deal with the matters at hand. Oh. She held an information path Mortal Gu as her expression changed slightly, Night Wolf Grotto Heaven. Night Heavenly Wolf Lord was not willing to fight alongside the variant humans, he wanted to join the stronger side of the 5 regions. Among them, although Heavenly Court had lost this fight, it was still the #1 human force for the last few million years. Night Wolf Grotto Heaven had grudges with Longevity Heaven, in the 5 regions, only Heavenly Court had the foundation to stand up against the vicious Longevity Heaven members. In this information path Gu Worm, Night Heavenly Wolf Lord also explained the ill intentions of the variant humans. Humph, those of other races have such motives. Once Fate Gu got destroyed, these variant humans jumped out immediately. Qin Dingling snorted, deep killing intense rose in her heart. After calming down, Qin Dingling started to think about this situation. Qin Dingling knew very little about Night Heavenly Wolf Lord and Night Wolf Grotto Heaven. With just one information path Gu Worm, she could not confirm if Night Heavenly Wolf Lord was really trying to sincerely join them, or if they were scheming against Heavenly Court. If this Night Heavenly Wolf Lord is sincere, how should we deal with Longevity Heaven and the variant human forces of the Grotto Heavens? Night Heavenly Wolf Lord talked about the history of his ancestor truthfully in the letter. He did not conceal the grudges they had with Longevity Heaven. Qin Dingling was slightly troubled. Heavenly Court was at an unprecedented level of weakness. Qi tides rampaged in the world, heaven and earth Qi converged. The Heavenly Court Gu immortals who had phantom apertures were even more mobile than the Gu immortals in black or white heaven. But Heavenly Court could not move them. Firstly, most of Heavenly Court's members had limited lifespan. Secondly, they had to reinforce star constellations' will. Thus, a portion of Heavenly Court's members had to enter the immortal graveyard to hibernate and help star constellations' will, to prevent her from being completely assimilated with heaven's will. But in that case, Heavenly Court's battle strength would be far lower. Thus, Qin Dingling could not make up her mind. If only Fairy Ziwei was still around. Qin Dingling sighed, the worry in her heart intensified. Fairy Ziwei and Old Man Zheng Yuan were enslaved by Spectral Soul. They left with him. The two of them knew a lot about Heavenly Court secrets, together with the soul of a demon venerable, who could underestimate them. Qin Dingling thought about it for a while before feeling the severity of this situation. She decided to discuss it with Zhou Xianxia and the rest. Zhou Xianxia suggested, "This is an important matter, but the situation is not very clear now. The 6 Gu immortals including Night Heavenly Wolf Lord are merely the rank 8s of the Black Heaven above our central continent. What about the other 4 regions Black Heaven? We do not know how many Grotto Heavens there are, or how many rank 8 Gu immortals exist in these Grotto Heavens. I am willing to go and investigate the 2 heavens myself." Zhou Xianxia cultivated information path. He knew the importance of information. He had a phantom aperture and was not afraid of the heaven and earth Qi convergence. Qin Dingling agreed with his suggestion. She chose to continue keeping in contact with Night Wolf Grotto Heaven while investigating the situation. Jun Shenguang took out an information path Mortal Gu, saying, "The list of names have been chosen. They are all Gu immortal seeds with great talent and aptitude. Most importantly, they are loyal to Heavenly Court and the 10 great ancient sections. But there is one person whom I need everyone's input and discussion on." Jun Shenguang's list contained the names of many Mortal Gu masters. They were all exceptional geniuses. Heavenly Court lost this battle and the immortal graveyard was even destroyed by Feng Yuan. Everything had to be rebuilt from scratch. With the threat of the 5 regions' chaotic war, Heavenly Court decided to nurture new Gu immortals, disregarding the costs. Qin Dingling received the Gu worm and looked into it. There were many names on this list. Immortal Crane Sect recommended Sun Yuan Hua, Spirit Butterfly Valley recommended Xiao Qi Xing, Ancient Soul Sect had Gu Ting, Heaven's Envy Manor had Wei Wushang, but at Spirit Affinity Houses section, the list was empty without a name. Qin Dingling sighed as her expression turned complex. She knew about the person Spirit Affinity House nominated. It had to be Feng Jin Huang. But after the battle over fate, Feng Jiugo betrayed Heavenly Court and went missing. His daughter Feng Jin Huang ended up in an awkward position. She was originally Duke Long's disciple and the future Great Dream Immortal Venerable. But with the death of Duke Long and the destruction of fate, she was no longer certain to be Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Zhou Xianxian's concern was, if Heavenly Court continued to nurture Feng Jin Huang and she betrayed them like her father, what would they do? Even though Feng Jin Huang was Duke Long's disciple, the disciple that he nurtured wholeheartedly spent 1,000,000 years to plot and destroy Heavenly Court's fate Gu. Would his second disciple Feng Jin Huang also inherit this great tradition? We will talk about this again next time. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.